Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Surprise!
It was just hot in here. I'm sorry, I was just changing my shirt. I had a tank top on.
Don't worry. I only give like 9 time warnings on the lead.
I know. I was getting set.
It's okay.
Welcome back, everybody. This is chapter 58.
Jeez.
Said chapter that time, not episode.
So old.
Yay!
The big sort of larger picture announcement today is that we are moving into a new space. I will say this again at the end of the stream if there's some people who didn't catch the beginning, but we are transitioning spaces. Because of that, the next 2 episodes are going to be pre-recorded. We'll be shooting them this coming Wednesday and then the next Sunday. So the next 2 episodes will air at the same time, Sundays, 7 to 10-ish. But they will not be live. However, we will be hanging out in the chat. We'll still be there to answer questions. Just know that if you sub or bit or something and we don't acknowledge it in the stream, it's simply because we cannot. I think notifications will still be on,
Yeah,
so your name and thing will still show up. Yeah, we just won't personally thank you until the following week after that.
Yes, the most mind-boggling thing is that next Sunday, when you're watching the next episode, we'll be recording
For
next
the week
week's
later.
episode. So I'm gonna be like,
You'll be like, yes, that did happen. That was surprising. Yes, so that's the beginning. I'll say that again at the end for anyone who missed it. Other than that, things will be business as usual. So this is the last live episode in this space until we transition. I know. Things will on stream things will look very much the same. Off stream they will be different.
Quite.
Anything else? Anything else people want to say?
It speaks for itself already, but I see that people have found the new moats. We are finally a channel that doesn't need to go through 2 weeks of submission process, so I went a little crazy today. We have a wolf bear, courtesy of Safira's bow. We have the flaming Kuuzni Kuiznos, which I think Kuiznos. I think Night Munch was the one who invented that, so I have to make sure that when he's in chat I point it out. And we have a standby Nat 1. I'm working on it. Give me time. It's fine. And everybody now, I realized that we unlocked more subscriber badges, so more people will have the little mushroom friends, depending on if you're like a 1, 2, 6, 9, and 12 month. So.
I like the Nat one. Just I want it on record that I like the Nat one.
It looks great. It's just very small. It's hard to see.
It looks like I'm at a football game cheering for the Nat one with a 1 finger.
The old one, not the new one.
No, this one.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
Oh, okay, because that's also what the other one was. It was just small.
I like it too.
Oh, okay, he's putting more in
Does
it.
me like it.
We also have the special images as well, or is that not in yet?
Oh, yes, and people keep asking about some of the homebrew stuff like the draft jacket, the animus bow, and the septic stuff. So, if we do command homebrew, that's not how you spell it, but like that, those are all now on Imgur, and you should be able to zoom in tight enough so that you can see all the special little text.
So if you want to see more specifically what people... I mean, we try to read them out when they happen, but there's a lot of sort of nitty-gritty rules regarding Beezaura's draft jacket, the Wild Ordnance, and Erland's sepsis.
Maybe one day Orba and Graven will get cool stuff.
Maybe, yep.
No, we just get people talking in our heads.
I guess we
Look, you've got some emotes.
I know.
Yeah, right.
You got
Right, okay, emotes or new spells? That's it.
So like...
Anything else? So a bunch of new things for the channel.
Yes.
That.
Anybody needs to wake up before the show. It's National Cappuccino Day.
Oh.
This is just...
That was literally like last week.
Was
No, it wasn't. That was
Frappuccino Day?
that was something else. That was latte
day?
That was latte
Oh
day.
my god. They need
Okay.
those
But
have separate
it's
days,
also
but animals have one.
National Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day.
Okay.
So
Well, it is garbage night.
there you go.
Make sure
Perfect.
that
And
goes
also,
around
it's
the
the National Spicy Hermit Cookie Day,
What?
which
Oh,
is
hermit
a
cookies are good.
cookie celebrating the autumn spices. So clove, allspice, and cinnamon.
And I believe some people even put raisins in them.
Like these cookies?
Speaking of raisins, Jordan, thank you for prompting that one. It's actually National Raisin Bran Cereal Day as well.
Shut up.
So pour
Sponsored
some
by
milk on
Kellogg's.
that.
You snuck that fourth
Snuck
one
that fourth
in
one
there.
in.
Pour some milk on
Strong
that
segue.
and crunch away, people. So, enjoy.
So clean out your fridge of all of the raisins.
Yeah, you got some milk about to spoil, you got some Raisin Bran about to go stale.
Matt hates us.
Wonderful.
Just
We'll be
me.
jumping back into chapter
Always.
58. We'll start with the intro as usual, and then we will see you on the other side, and we will pick up where we left off. See you then.
Yes.
Stumble and Erland's gonna be like,
Alright.
Oh, heck.
We're back.
Whoa.
Alright.
We really should be paying better attention.
Whoa.
it's me.
Alright, everybody. In chapter 57, we're all running from something. The party enjoyed a quiet night of retrospection at the Ackley Elves' encampment, just inside the border of the EC region. After hearing a cautionary tale of what the elves believed was the downfall of the city of Joiruc, we had a few of our own stories to tell. Safira struggled to reconcile her respect for authority with a man who deserved none of it at all. Orba's early days of dabbling in magic when she was perhaps not supposed to. And Beezaura's decision to leave her family behind when they would not come to their senses about their grim situation. With a nod to the past and a look to the future, we took our leave for the evening, after solidifying our intention to hire Dodd's services for the next day or so. Erland volunteered for first watch, and in doing so bought himself a window of opportunity to speak privately with our new guide about a bit of shared history. Dodd deflected at first, but Erland's conviction in this matter became clear to him, and he opened up about his training, his instructors, and his difficult path to remission, which was the monastery's version of mostly releasing you from their service. It was a rare opportunity for Erland to speak of his past, and he got a couple of names worth looking into if he wanted to acquire another contract for fieldwork before Jillian's grace period had ended. With a mutual agreement to avoid these topics in the company of others, they headed to bed, a full night's rest necessary for the long road ahead. Orba made sure to keep everyone on schedule, waking the group at first light with a bevy of fruits to fill their bellies.
Cool. Thank you.
After settling his affairs with the elves, Dodd turned the horses east, and we began the first leg towards the Ruins of Joiruc. There was plenty of time to converse as we made the slow trudge through the dense forest, but we kept our answers short and simple when Dodd inquired about our travel plans and motives. He seemed to take the hint, and it was during a long, quiet stretch that Erland spotted a dull flash emanating from his backpack. It was the stone given to him by Marvin Bishop, and with a hasty flip through Gurmari's giant grimoire, he watched as writing appeared in real time on the always enigmatic page 216 of the tome. Marvin was clearly under time constraints, but he managed to get down a bit of his story before it was erased. The people responsible for his imprisonment, Gurmari's motives in working with the myconid extract, and some recent events that led to his abduction by another group that he did not yet know the reason for. It wasn't entirely new information, but there were pieces there, and we had little doubt that when we inevitably dipped our toes back into the inner workings of the myconid trade, these tidbits would prove useful. Also during this portion of the ride, and what had become a recurring theme, Kuuzni voiced his displeasure over Orba's refusal to acknowledge his blessing, and tensions rose as Graven insisted there were benefits to her presence, while the light god urged him to find a new companion, a notion he was unwilling to entertain at this time. The first bump in the road came while traveling through an unnerving former battle site where Black Lion barbarians and Ackley elves had clashed many years ago. The bodies were in a state of stasis, not alive, but refusing to decay either, and our concerns about such a place manifested quickly when Orba began to hear whispers that tried to infect her mind. The party went into damage control, pushing the horses to move as fast as possible, while those in the back battered the corpses that had turned their eyes to the Tiefling. It was a sobering and bleak handful of minutes, but Dodd was correct about the path being easier to traverse here, and the ability to ride quickly kept us from reaching a critical breaking point in Orba's sanity. We took a moment to collect ourselves before setting off again, and we were thankful to find that the next person we came across was both alive and indicated no intent to harm us. A dwarven man named Fenster had come to the Ackley Grove to complete a dangerous mission given to him by Carver Colossus, a Goliath of great renown who was offering valuable rewards to inspire the next generation of hunters. Fenster needed to capture a bit of tempest lightning in a glass bottle, but his limited intelligence meant that his best and only plan for doing so was sticking his arm up during a storm and hoping for the best. In exchange for some helpful tips on how he might accomplish this task, Fenster agreed to pass along Beezaura's name to Carver, and even gave us one of his famous battle cries, which was quite inspiring despite the ringing in our ears. We took that invigoration east, and it was a smooth ride until the sound of trickling water turned the soil to mud beneath our feet. Dodd recognized these signs as a trap laid out by lizard folk, and right on cue the reptilian creatures came slithering out from between the trees. As most of us sunk deeper into the mud, Dodd shouted to target the shamans, which Erland and Safira wasted no time in doing. Isolated in a pit she could not escape from, Orba was unable to position herself out of harm's way, but a great blast of radiant light put a number of the lizard folk out of action, tipping the odds in our favor. As Beezaura wound up a mouthful of scalding steam to down the final foe, we marveled at this never seen before talent of hers, and we asked ourselves, when would Marvin Bishop get another opportunity to communicate with us through the pages of the grimoire? Would Fenster get himself killed before he could sing our praises up north? And with undead attention attracting, boiling water spewing, bearwolf transforming party members around him, is it possible that Erland's association with Atonement's End was somehow the least surprising thing that Dodd had learned about us in the past 24 hours?
Poor Dodd's like, who are these people? Give me the fun.
We find out now, in chapter 58 of A Peek Beneath the Veil.
Yeah.
The party regroups, their chests rising and falling as they catch their breath and begin to form a semicircle around Beezaura, who with reddened lips casually exhales the last remnants of heated vapors from her mouth. Everyone looks to the motionless lizard folk, whose scalded scales have discolored and cracked, revealing the raw skin underneath. There's just enough of a pause here to allow Safira to revert back to her bestial form, fur receding and claws retracting, until she once again holds the enchanted bow in her hand, string vibrating with a low growl. Dodd has already begun to start the arduous process of digging one of the horses free from the mud, leaning into it with his shoulder until it catches its footing and he's able to kind of help it scuttle out of a little pit that it's in. There's a moment after he sort of pushes the horse out that he looks to the rest of you, who've all kind of gathered around Beezaura. I did not see any of them escape, but we should not linger here.
Do we have 10 minutes?
Perhaps just a little further down the road, maybe.
All right. Let's go. Let's go to my horse.
As he's sort of going to his, it takes you guys a moment to. A couple of horses are still in the pits. You have to kind of. It's no longer like sinking, like squishy mud. It's kind of hard clayish. You just have to dig the hooves out, help them get out a little bit, shove each foot. And as this is going on, Dodd speaks a little bit more before you guys kind of get up and hit the road. It is somewhat unusual to see lizard folk this far west. They are much more commonly found in Itu and the mangroves. But as they are something between beast and man, we do see them occasionally drawn to the storm when the tempests change seasons. Now that we know they are here, I will keep a closer eye out for signs of their presence. I apologize.
It's alright.
Alright, he swings his leg back.
Can I cast Prayer of Healing while I'm on a horse?
What is the... Give me the text for that.
So it's just a verbal component. Up to 6 creatures I can see within range regain hit points.
I'll say so. It doesn't say you have to kind of sit and concentrate on it. I'll say yes. Yeah, you can.
Okay. So if I stay in the middle, maybe.
Yeah,
because it's 30 feet,
and it's just verbal, right?
Yeah.
So you don't need to use your hands. Yeah, you can just.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say
so.
Sure.
I'll ride in the middle, and I can, as long as you all stay close enough, I can heal all of us as we go here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Could use it.
I'll start that.
Don't think we have to go too far before taking a proper rest. Just don't want to be right here where they know they set their traps up.
Right. Of course.
So you're saying that, much like all of the other wildlife we have seen get drawn toward the storm, you think the lizard folk are equally...
Yes, lizard folk, like I said, not quite beast, not quite man. We find them drawn to it as well. I had a friend a while back who I've not seen in some time who was a were-creature, transformed between bear and man. And he found himself similarly drawn to it, even though he was probably more man than a lizard folk.
Was a lizard folk ever a warden?
I don't know. If it has, it has been a while. We don't know who the wardens are exactly. We know that they exist, but...
Do you know what they do?
They look out for the creatures of the forest, I think. The type of warden usually changes. Sometimes it will be a deer, sometimes a squirrel. They have an ability to communicate with the animals in a way that they aren't normally able to. They're sort of a bridge between the species.
Do they change in form once they're appointed as a warden?
I don't believe so, no.
Well, you were a sort of bear wolf. Did you feel any magical drawing to Des?
I kind of
Des?
looking at him like, no. I mean, I felt normal. I mean, I'm not exactly a were thing. If that's what you're suggesting.
I'm simply.
Yeah, I'll also confirm. You didn't. Part of it, you're not even sure necessarily because you've seen these creatures aren't like hypnotized in a way that they can't do anything else.
Yeah.
You were preoccupied. You were fighting. So
Yeah.
you as soon as the last foe was dead, you didn't like feel an immediate compulsion to. But yeah.
Yeah. Also,
very brief.
I was, busy. So I don't know.
How often does the warden change?
Usually every time the seasons go all the way around.
So fairly regularly, every 100 days or so, 120 days.
All the way around, right?
From
So 450
you see
days?
all, yes. It's not always an exact amount, but yes. When they travel from E2 to Des, that's usually when a new warden comes out.
Lucky us.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Yeah, I was about to say, Beezaura, who knew that you could? When did
That
you
was
learn
new.
to do that?
I wasn't going to ask.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Thank you, Orba. It's a new device I sort of have.
Oh,
Sort of. It's not a potion. It's a mechanical device.
what kind of? Yeah.
This woman that I ran into in Tuktu, she recognized me from a photo that an old friend from back home had shown her, who I'd seen in Mukmu, and she recognized me.
Is that problematic for you? Or if she?
No.
Okay.
She is also a fellow halfling,
Oh.
and quite extraordinarily smart.
Was this when you visited, or you literally ran into on the
When
streets?
Graven and I were dropping off the chest for the bounty, she saw me and recognized me.
Glad to find out that I'm not the only one surprised by these new developments.
Yes, it was the first time the group has ever seen me use it. Glad it worked, but my friend had told her that I may be headed north and that I was on my own journey and I had escaped on my own. And she decided that a halfling should make something of themselves, and she wanted to help me succeed.
If it's a device, can we see it?
It's under all my armor. I'd wish just to keep it on for now.
Can we, now that we're like, can we see the little like camelback thing?
It's under her arm. You could like pull the neckline of your chainmail down a little bit. You can see the top, but you can see like two of the dials kind of at the top. You can't see the whole thing, but you can clearly see she's wearing something mechanical underneath the chainmail. Yeah.
Perhaps when we make camp tonight, you can give us a little presentation.
This gift, it came with no, like, strings attached. She just bumped into you on the street, said, "Hey, you look familiar, and here's this."
I was about to say, I wish I had friends like this.
I know, it sounds...
Honestly,
me too.
there really were no strings attached, Safira. She's... The
I'm
halflings...
sure it's, like, safe?
Yes.
And I'm kind of looking at it now, concerned.
It uses all natural ingredients that you can find anywhere.
Oh.
And
Nice, I guess.
being a halfling, we don't get many chances to rise above our conditions.
What kind of natural ingredients produce steam?
I'm honestly not sure exactly how it works. And
Would you
that's
drink
being
it?
honest.
Shouldn't you know if it's going in your... I'm worried about this now, because she's a stranger who just walked up on the street and gave you a...
She's not necessarily a stranger.
No, I mean, I seemed kind, but also... But
You're
that's
saying,
odd,
You're
right?
saying don't put anything in your mouth or your body that you don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad rule.
I haven't broken that one yet.
It's a good... I mean, that's what I'm saying.
It seemed to work, and I'm still standing, so...
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Where you were from, where you bought your freedom, like you said in your story last night, was everybody who was stuck there halflings?
Not all of them. It was
Yeah.
primarily, but not all of them.
Not all of them, but most that were treated as servants were. So,
Well, that's right, fucked. I'm sorry.
thank you. So, it's important to us all to succeed some way and show the world that a halfling can be more than just a small servant.
Well, certainly you can. You're the toughest fighter we've got.
Thank you. And I hope
Only
to show...
the race of men had this kind of loyalty to the brothers and sisters.
Yes, I agree.
That would be nice.
So, sorry to shock you all with it. I honestly didn't know what
I mean,
to
no, it's
expect either.
brilliant. I mean,
It was
For the cool.
the first time I'd ever done that, so I'm glad it was beneficial to us all.
yeah.
No more shocking than turning into a bear, so...
I'd have to say so.
I was going to say that was a neat trick. Some kind of droid or something.
Yeah, I've got an even weirder story than her. Mine was a puppy, ran off. It was a wolf puppy, and then it turned into a bow up a tree. I'm not kidding. That's actually how I got this.
Which tree? Were there more?
No, well, I was outside of... We were outside of Mukmu, right? Okay. Outside of Mukmu somewhere? I don't know what kind of tree.
I don't know anything about it. I'm just saying that as someone who hunts bears, the ability to turn into one without 20 years of magical training in shapeshifting sounds like a useful talent.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know where you could... I barely know why it happened to me. I mean, right grateful, but,
You could try it and see if it works on you.
I'm not sure that our friend here would be willing.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's your call.
I really don't think it works that way. It's not so much that I'm not willing to let you fire a bow from it, but an arrow rather. But I think it's kind of a. We've got a special connection, and Safira kind of like.
I don't want you to.
It only likes my hands, though.
It's like growling. That's it.
Maybe at a later time you give me a proper demonstration.
Sure. Yeah.
It's for anything else that you guys are kind of riding near?
I guess I'll roll for mine.
Yes, please do.
Oh, heal us.
Heal us, healer.
Everybody gets 8.
Ooh, thank you.
Sounds good to me.
That will do.
Not as good.
That doesn't take away my temp HP, does it?
No,
If it's a real heal, it's not.
It's a
temp
real
HP.
heal.
Yeah,
It's real.
Oh shit.
Oh, sorry, my temp's not good enough for you.
4 is 8.
I'm burning a hole in my HP slot.
Does anyone else need a more significant rest than that? Or are we all right to push on?
Orba, are you doing okay?
I'm doing okay. Yes.
I wouldn't mind, as your friend said, just resting for a moment, have something to eat.
I agree.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Go up just a little bit. Leads you on for a little bit. And distancing yourself a little bit from the battle site, Dodd kind of picks out a spot near some larger trunk trees whose thick roots are partially above the ground. In addition to providing sort of ample seating, it seems that it would act as a kind of buffer between yourselves and the ground, should there be any more sort of sudden mud or sort of loosening of the soil.
Not again.
The first thing that Dodd does after dismounting, he throws a leg over, goes down. As he starts to knock his boots against the bark, there's sort of a layer of caked mud from having just fought with the lizard folk there. You see it kind of falling off in chunks, and he's picking at it a little bit with a stick as well to get all the pieces out, until he's satisfied that they're clean. I believe you all said that you had packed rations, but this is a good place for foraging. I'm going to take a quick look around, see if I can find anything. Look for signs of lizard folk as well. I won't go far. Keep an eye on my horse, yes?
Okay.
Alright, be safe.
It won't be more than 5-10 minutes.
Can I come with you? I've never learned how to forage before.
If you like, yes.
Sure.
She's avoiding us now.
I like it.
She doesn't want more questions.
I love it.
So the sort of implication was a short rest here, but you guys also sort of dismount a little bit, take a moment to knock the mud off your boots, rest for a second, have something to eat. It is sort of time to eat in a moment, if you wish.
Was the idea that he was looking for food for all of us, or for himself?
If he could find it. I mean, yeah, he said he was going to go foraging in the area.
Because if we looked in the immediate area, we wouldn't get the rest.
No, you could just quickly take a look around as well. Yeah, I mean,
I might do that.
Yeah, same.
okay, sure. Give me survival checks for those.
Foraging.
Sick.
Bad foraging.
7.
He did not find anything. Yeah.
So you two not following Dog don't mind finding anything in the immediate vicinity. Give me a survival with advantage as you follow his expertise.
I think it's -1. Yeah.
She rolls consistently better than all of us.
16.
16. So as you guys are sort of hunting around a little bit, and you see, after a little bit, Dodd seems to be looking like down at the base of some of these trees, kind of down near the roots. And at one point, he sort of calls you over and he points, and he's pointing to like a little cluster of mushrooms that actually, sort of with the naked eye, are very hard to see. They kind of look very much coloration-wise like the tree bark. But he goes over and he lights like a little torch that he has. He takes like a little piece of char cloth and lights it, and he shows you, and he's holding the heat close to it. And as he does, they start to glow. They sort of react to the heat. And he's sort of showing you, if you walk through the woods and you have a source of heat, you can see that the mushrooms, they light up. It's a very good way to gather food in the dark if you need them. And he starts to kind of gather sort of clumps of them.
Do all mushrooms light up like that?
No, just the ones in the Eckley Grove, as far as I know.
Why is that?
I don't know. They've just always been that way. Pelippa mushrooms, they're called.
Say it again?
Pelippa, P-E-L-L-I-P-A. Pelippa mushrooms. They're good to eat raw, or you can cook them.
Do they provide certain good vitamins?
They can be eaten for a meal, yes.
Okay. Sure. And I'll take
Yeah,
some.
he's sort of showing. There's a couple of clusters there, and you start to
Take yours.
So you guys are kind of doing that. Back at the sort of site with the horses, what are you guys up to?
I just roll a really shitty hit die for my short rest.
Okay.
I don't think I'm gonna roll anything.
What time is it roughly?
It's like 2-3 o'clock. It's still like the early-ish afternoon.
Fuck it.
I'm going to use 2 of my hit die for breathing exercises.
Okay.
Each die, do I have? Or just me?
For each die, yeah, I think so.
Do you add your Constitution modifier
For each die.
each die?
Rolled a 2 and a 1.
Am I the only one not rolling a hit die?
This can be. You're not going into anywhere dangerous. If you wish to roll hit die as well.
I mean,
I
it
don't,
also probably
I think I'm full.
like long rest.
I'm not 40, so.
3 is...
Oh, after Graven's heal.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
I roll 1.
Alright.
Oh, I am.
Going up
If I
9.
roll, it'll be
Oh, those are some good breathing exercises.
Strong breathing exercise.
so centered.
Forest is very peaceful.
Yeah.
It's not like
Yeah, that's
the last time.
A little halfway there.
Oh, that was a good fair roll, but I can't even feel up all of it.
delicious.
So you can hear the sort of crunching of footsteps. It seems like they're off a little bit in the woods, Beezaura and Dodd, as they sort of hunt in the area for mushrooms, or you don't know that, but so you guys sort of have a moment here as you sort of rest, just take a moment to breathe.
I never properly thanked you for helping me. Well, everybody did, but you especially when we were riding out of the, weird cemetery. So thank you.
Oh yeah, it's nothing. Of course I do that.
That's nothing, Safira. That was very brave.
I know. I mean, it's not. Okay, sure. I mean, thanks. Okay.
Okay.
Safira just slides.
Yeah. Remind me to never bother you with a compliment.
The normal answer is, you're welcome.
I would anticipate things like that happening again if the scenery fits. So
Okay. Well, if it happens again, I'm sure, you can send it my way.
okay, thanks. Sorry.
Oh, it's
Do
not
you-
your fault.
Are you also in need of a soul shelter?
I don't believe I know much about the soul shelters. And their purpose is to hide from gods more so than undead and other.
Oh, but you don't have any reason to need to hide from. Okay, so maybe a soul shelter is
Indirectly, yes.
definitely a good idea then.
But then, anyways, it's different. Yes, it's a different. There's differences. Yes, but.
Okay.
I suppose what I'm asking is there... Do you know the source of your connection to the undead? Is there some sort of...
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. I never showed you. I never had an opportunity. And Orba's gonna take out her flower for a second.
This is the flower that you were speaking of to that
Okay.
elven man, yes?
Which one?
The
Medium.
the guy. Yeah, you talked to him with me. And
Oh, yeah. Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Took to
Better.
him. Better.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, because of you, I went back and I got it. And I spoke to her.
To the flower?
No, to
the spirit.
Yes.
Go with the flower.
And I accepted it. And it's going to provide me with some protection, but it will, as she put it, draw the eyes of the undead. So it's kind of like a...
Double-edged sword, then.
Yes, good news, bad news.
Okay.
So protected from...
Well, I guess I'm glad we have silvered some of our weapons. I wish I had a few more.
Yes, I have some spells that would help.
Protected from the undead by the undead?
No, protected from other
Protected
things.
from by the undead.
You could say divine powers, but
Yeah.
it's
No, but
adequately there.
Every
would
time
not be
Safira
named.
points up, Graven's like,
Every time she points up, she feels like a point.
donk, donk.
That's actually really fun.
Yes, and it works.
What do you mean it works? How do you know it works? Why would you know that it works?
This might be a conversation for later. But it works.
Okay, but it's
We're
a conversation that we're having because how the hell do you know that it works?
Alright, I think that, Safira, we need to be
Alright,
A little-
I haven't even yelled yet.
careful.
You did ask 4 times.
That's fair, but
There
please
are
tell me
things-
later.
There are things, it seems, we can't control here on this plane of
Does
existence.
it seem that way, Erland? Thank you for alerting. Yes, I appreciate the observation.
You know, I don't like keeping secrets as much as you all love keeping secrets. I don't like keeping secrets, and I plan on telling my secrets when it is safe to.
That's
Uh,
fair. I
speaking
also
of-
don't like keeping secrets.
Once the halfling gets back, I do, and you need to talk with everyone. I have news on Marvin.
What?
Really?
Yeah, he wrote to me. It's not good. It's not good news.
Yeah, he did. It's bad. That smirk, he was so
The
proud.
way you said it, oh my god.
Say the bad news in a good way.
Like he wrote to me.
And it's not
He
good.
signed my autograph book, and like I couldn't believe the message. But I think he's dying.
It worked again once. I just don't. It's fairly lengthy, I, from what I remember. But I'd rather only say it once.
Sure,
So just once that Halfling. It's fine if Dodd hears it as well. I don't think he has any reason to meddle. He lives out here with the elves.
All right. That's very exciting. It's good. Yeah, good. Bad.
Mostly bad.
Oh,
Is that bad?
It's that bad.
he's not dead, is he?
He's not. I don't think so.
Well, he wrote it.
He wrote, so he might. Can we wait till the Halfling gets
The
here?
gods. Okay, yeah.
Unless there's anything else, you guys wait for a moment, breathe, get your things, sharpen your weapons. After a little while, Beezaura and Dodd come back. Dodd kind of had a couple little, sort of leather satchels that he had filled up with some mushrooms. You've got a couple handfuls of them. They come back. It was a pretty good haul around here. I
Oh.
believe we have enough for everyone and perhaps a little more.
Oh, cheers.
They're
Thanks.
Appreciate
mushrooms, actually.
You can eat them raw or cook them. Depends on whether you want to make a fire or not. But you kind of takes a little, sort of plops it down a little bit. And they're pretty meaty. They have kind of a nice thick cap. Again, sort of they have kind of a reddish color that blends in with the trees around, which is why they're hard to see unless you sort of hold a heat source close by.
Thank you, Dad. That's very kind.
Yes. Thank you. Everyone's feeling a little better, perhaps. Take a moment here.
Yes, much better.
Can I, before I eat the mushroom, can I give it a smell and make
Sure,
I
you
don't
can.
feel anything
Smells
weird?
very mundane.
Good,
Yeah.
good,
He opens his eyes.
A good reminder that there are many mushrooms in the world that
So I
are
was like,
perfect.
That's normal.
It doesn't open its cute little eyes.
It does not. It goes, ouch! When you bite it. It does not.
sad.
I use the mushrooms.
Yeah, me too.
And you see Don chewing on a few of them as well.
Thank you for teaching me.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, cheers.
So how much do you anticipate us covering in terms of ground today before we rest?
Well, we'll definitely get to the ruins in a couple more hours.
Really?
Yes. And hopefully by the end of the day we should be out of the ruins, maybe even a little further than that.
Wow.
Okay. You won't mind if there's anything sort of to examine around the ruins. You don't mind if we do some sightseeing, do you?
What do you mean?
I mean, like, if we sort of stumbled on anything, you don't mind if we explore, do you?
Not particularly. Like I said, the fog in there is fairly thick. It's hard to see, but sure. There are
Just kind of
animals in the ruins that perhaps you don't want to disturb.
Okay.
They've made a home there, but
Right.
if it looks safe, I don't have a problem.
Okay.
And he kind of he's a little bit away from the group. He kind of sits over near his horse. He's kind of munching on some of his mushrooms. It looks like he's also still kind of kicking off some of the dirt on his pants and things, just getting himself sort of situated.
Dodd, if we had a rather sensitive conversation, could we trust your discretion?
Yes, but I think we saw another patch of mushrooms that we left behind. If you want me to go see if I can take a look,
That would be good, I think.
I'll be back. And he gets up.
No. I want to
He's very
So I was like,
nice.
don't leave me, don't go.
You can't.
Leave me with these crazy people.
Are you sure my little hands can carry a lot?
Yeah.
I'm a harvester.
All right, Halfling, just to fill you in, I mentioned to the group that Marvin Bishop wrote to me in the book, so there is more information on his whereabouts.
Oh, good. So he's okay.
No, he's not okay. So right now it seems that last we heard he was on his way to Oranchupa. Yes, we didn't quite know why.
Unwillingly.
Unwilling. That was unclear, I believe. I think we only
Okay.
knew that it said Oranchupa bound was.
Right, okay.
So that's all we knew.
Okay.
We have significantly more information about that and perhaps the harvesting yard that we found. So I suppose, first things first, Marvin Bishop seemed... I should start at the beginning. So, Marvin Bishop, as we know, was imprisoned by the Lemonade Man.
Mm-hmm.
He...
And then was kidnapped, right?
And he was attempting to discover a way to trigger myconid extract from a distance. These are things we knew.
Mm-hmm.
He told them in order to sort of buy time for himself that and learn more into what he was assisting with, he asked to see the areas that he was going to be triggering the extract in, which is how he had the arcane eyes installed in all of the pockets.
So that was him installing them.
Well, someone else, I believe, installed them, but it was upon his request that he have these arcane eyes.
That's very clever.
He recognized me, I suppose from long ago,
Recognize
Should have made you do it from memory.
Recognize you from your relationship with Gurmari?
Yes, from a long time ago when
Right.
I studied with Gurmari. So Marvin Bishop had a falling out with Gurmari. These are all things that we know, and he's sort of confirmed. The disagreement was over the use of organic alchemy, as we suspected.
Like turning people into myconids.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
No, what would there be to disagree about in terms of that?
Yeah, what would there be?
So-
What could there possibly be?
Well, so it's slightly more complicated than that. Regeni Gurmari, in his idea for organic alchemy was to take people who are near death, who are near the end of their lives, and turn them into myconids.
I suppose that's mildly more humane.
In an
sure.
attempt to both... I believe Regeni looked at organic alchemy as a preservation of resources. So his thinking was take someone who's at the end of their life, turn them into myconids to prevent the depletion of the myconid population.
I see.
Right? They disagreed on this, it seems.
Marvin and he disagreed.
Marvin and Regeni Gurmari disagreed on it. It seems, according to Marvin, that Gurmari's intention was never to infect healthy populations, as it seems we have clearly seen now. So, this is where another man came into the picture, and this is where it ties into perhaps what you all discovered in the harvesting yards. Someone who had visited the Natural Studies Institute prior, I believe this is perhaps, I think I would know this, I believe this is perhaps the person who wrote the journal that you spoke of.
Yes.
He referred to himself as Dardanach Jr. He sort of resembled Dardanach, however, Dardanach never had any children. His hair used to be, Dardanach Jr.'s hair used to be brown and now it was golden blonde, perhaps like that painting
Right.
that we found. So I believe that this person is the one. We believe that this could be the person who wrote the journal. This is someone who had deep insight into things, someone we haven't been able to put a face to. And
Well,
yet
if
someone...
he visited Marvin, the man with the journal was off to visit Marvin. That was his last journal entry.
Oh, that was. Oh, okay. So then, yes, this man approached Marvin, and this man knew much of Gurmari's work. He was able to decipher Marvin's diagrams, even though they were incomplete. And the plan was to bring Marvin Bishop to Oranchupa for his own safety. Does this fit in with what you saw in the journal? I know you gave us sort of bullet points.
You think that the man with the journal, Dardanach Jr., wanted to save Marvin from the Lemonade
That's
Man,
what Marvin seemed to say.
but to still utilize him? Just more humanely?
A secure spot for his own safety was all that Dardanach Jr. said to Marvin.
I bet the Lemonade Man didn't take that very well.
Well, but this is why it was done under the guise, as the Halfling found out from the book. This was under the guise of being transported via animal carriers.
Well, but the Lemonade Man's gonna go up into the Natural Studies Institute and see that there's no Marvin Bishop in this little glass thing.
It was done. It seemed to be done quietly, perhaps under the cover of night. It seemed that this Dardanach Jr., whether or not he was having a fall... Nothing you've said about the journal indicated some sort of falling out with the overall harvesting yard, did it?
Falling out of who?
From Dardanach Jr. and the harvesting yard,
but
anyway.
Dardanach and the Lemonade Man do not like each other.
Okay, so then I don't know what sort of rift this implied, but it seemed that Dardanach Jr. was trying to protect Marvin from the Lemonade Man. Or at least bringing him out of, rescuing him from captivity to trigger this. And this is why I don't understand, because triggering volatile myconid extract, I thought, was a plan of the entire harvesting yard, not just the Lemonade Man. Right?
It is the plan of the entire harvesting yard. It seemed like for the man with the journal, not Junior, it seemed less of an aspiration and more of a life or death obligation that he accomplished this. He feared for his life at one point.
Dartlock Jr., you believe?
Yes. He said it might save his life if this works, so I don't know if he's under some kind of duress or... Seems like nobody actually wants to get this done. They just everybody's forcing me to.
There still seems... I would have thought that the writer of the journal was about as high up in this as possible, but it seems that if he was under duress and
like
there was infighting with the Lemonade Man, it seems like there must be someone above them pulling the strings.
I think it's Maurice. Maurice was in charge of hiring the Lemonade Man. He also found Normanaya. It seems like he... maybe
that was the man we saw.
Maurice? Perhaps, yes. The one who yelled at poor Bertho. Very nice.
Regardless, the last thing that Marvin said was that sort of he didn't make it very far to Oranchupa, and his caravan was ambushed, and someone has apprehended him, and he is being locked in a basement, and that's all he could say. He believes his life is in danger.
He doesn't know who's apprehended him?
He doesn't know who's apprehended him, but his life may be in danger now.
So someone took him from the Lemonade Man, and
No,
now somebody
Dardanok Jr. was bringing him from Oranchupa, from the Lemonade Man, and in transit, before he even got very close,
he was kidnapped.
He was taken by unknowns and is currently locked in some basement. He had to cut the message short because they were approaching, it seemed.
Did he get any sort of look at these people who took him?
Not if he got interrupted, but...
This poor man.
Marvin Bishop is
in
perhaps...
high demand.
Well, is there any way that we can send... I mean, if he was apprehended near Oranchupa, how far could they have taken him?
He said he said they were... He was apprehended before making it very far to Mukmu. He could be anywhere, though. I don't know how much time has elapsed since he was in Oranchupa, since he was kidnapped. We don't know who he was kidnapped by. Regardless...
Does he make a request?
No, he said he's going to try and write soon. If he's still alive, I don't know what these people want with him.
What if Jillian did it?
Why would Jillian lock him in a basement?
Well, I don't know.
She
keeps
people captive for many different reasons.
No,
but
I
she
doubt
knew that we were
would.
waiting for a GGG message from Marvin.
No, but
You
so
know what
she
I mean?
locks him in a basement until he gives it to us, and then strips him away.
No, I mean maybe she saw him saying Oranchupa bound in the thing and thought, I have to go stop him from helping out this Myconid camp any further. I don't know why she would lock him up and keep him in the basement.
That would mean that Jillian has a copy of GGG.
She's Jillian. She has everything.
That's
I don't
very
think it's
true.
Jillian. I think that, especially given that Jillian told us that she was trying to lay low and let them make a mistake.
That's true.
There were lots of people who could want someone like this. I mean, anyone in this business might want his expertise.
If anybody knows what he can do.
Well,
Who knows who could take him?
well, given that Marvin Bishop seems to be the only thing separating the success of... Marvin Bishop is currently... His procrastination and his sort of dragging his feet on this seems to be the only thing triggering some sort of widespread tragedy.
Can I just go back, though? So, is Gurmari a good guy or a bad guy? Because you're still turning people into Myconid.
I don't know.
And we know
I think the answer is
It's like he's trying to be a good guy while
No,
being a bad
Gurmari
guy.
has... There's a possibility Gurmari hasn't been involved in this in years.
Right, but the theory of turning somebody into one even at the end of their life...
Whether...
Well, I guess they're going to die anyways, and they're just going to sit and rot on the ground.
It is entirely possible. I think that...
So you're going to turn them into a creature that then you're going to skin alive
Hold on.
repeatedly.
Hold on. There's a possibility that Gurmari is involved in this in an active way. He hasn't been seen in a very long time. However, I believe it's more likely... He was a scholar. He was a teacher. It's more likely that his theories
Took his ideas
and his
and ran with
ideas are now being used in some sort of commercial way. Marvin Bishop does not believe that Regeni Gurmari is the mastermind behind all of this.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, does Gurmari not believe Myconid to have some kind of a awareness, like a conscience?
Why would you...
Well, if you turn a person into a tree, the tree theoretically doesn't think, hey, I'm a tree, this kind of stinks. It's just a tree.
I think
But-
it's pretty widely accepted that while they may not be intelligent, that they do have...
Well, certainly this one's talked to them.
Well,
I
that's
haven't
because he's
talked to them.
Well, no, but they've shared a memory with you. If that's
Sure.
not a consciousness, I don't know what is.
A plant may bend to the light. That doesn't necessarily mean they're conscious.
right.
No, but a plant doesn't remember the light that it bent to last week.
I don't know. I haven't talked to a plant.
But that's what I'm saying is, what if he doesn't know that they are capable of memory, that they're capable of
I think
sharing?
it's impossible to tell whether or not. Look, you know scholars and teachers as well as I. Sometimes the pursuit of science, sometimes the pursuit of an idea
Get lost.
can overcome someone and they can lose track of the real world implications. This could be an instance, you're right, of Gurmari orchestrating all of this behind who knows what, or it could simply be an
Or
issue.
he's created a monster and he's hiding from it now.
Yes. After having
Also,
realized
just
what
to
he's
say,
done.
to clarify really quickly, because you are from Antisu, the plant thing is not a necessarily widespread belief. First of all, there's lots of sentient plants. You guys have fought that vine creature, so there's certainly a belief that they have more agency than your average tree or leaf or whatever. But certainly the idea that they have memories, and that is not a widespread held belief. In fact, I would say until that happened, you hadn't necessarily heard of that at all until Erland was able to sort of telepathically or whatever communicate with them. So people are aware that they're, they have agency, but they're not necessarily intelligent.
Yeah.
From the journal, Tiefling, you might remember this better than I.
Yes.
The pockets right now, they're able to still, we've seen it in Tuktu, they're able to create some sort of miasma. Mm-hmm. But is the idea that triggering it from a distance, it allows them to sort of do
you
it
would
in a
want
more...
to trigger it from a distance. You don't want to be anywhere near it when it happens.
But they've been able to do it... They don't know how to trigger it from a distance at this moment, do they?
No.
That's what
That's what he's
Marvin
trying
was-
to work out.
So in order to trigger it in the way that it's been triggered in Tuktu, you have to be rather close to it, is that the idea?
I think that, but also, they also, I don't believe, according to the journal, they haven't also figured out the way to make the gas rise on its own. It's sinking into
That's
the
right.
ground.
It's sinking
which
into
is-
the ground, which is what
It's
happened.
too heavy.
Right.
In
So-
the interest of
yes.
not confusing you guys,
Yes.
that is what he means by triggering the myconid, actually. I think that's...
Oh, it's literally the same thing.
Getting it to rise out of the ground is they're triggering it so it enters the air and people
Got
breathe
it.
Yes, that is the same thing.
So, I guess,
Concentrate.
Yes, the concentrate.
yes. So I guess when Yannick started digging, that was enough to release the myconid miasma.
Right.
But you can't just have people digging in the cities, so...
Regardless,
My goodness.
I don't know what any of this means. I don't know if there's anything we can do, but I thought it important, given our position, or rather shaky position within the sort of myconid trade, that you know where things rest, and that depending on who has Marvin Bishop, this continent may be closer to danger than it was before.
Oh, golly, okay.
Do you want to turn south? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I think that our instructions from Gillian were to keep a low profile. Marvin Bishop hopefully will write again, and hopefully we'll get more information.
We could try to get a letter to Jillian. Send something to Kilsetra.
We should try to
That's
send
not
a letter
bad.
to
Once
someone.
Once we get to Navikapura, that might be a good idea.
Or, I don't know if there's any sort of courier service through... if Dodd can maybe take a letter back with
Can
him.
we send, is there the equivalent of sending, a raven, a pigeon carrier kind of thing in
If
this?
you had a trained one, yes, that exists,
That
but
exists,
within
though,
cities
but, you
usually.
could buy...
Do we, do they have, in the Ackley Group, do they have any sort
Not
of...
that you've seen.
Yeah.
These are
Also-
nomadic kind of wandering communities. Right? You
Is
have
that-
not seen
I
something.
have another
like that.
question. Is
Yeah.
that something that, with Talk to Animals, could I, sit down with a bird? and
I
try-
believe
It's
You
for the
mean,
friend animals or something?
the
Does
other
that
problem
right now?
is who is it communicating to on the other end?
Yeah, I guess I mean, if it's communicating to like, I guess I could send it to a specific person, but I can't really. I have to send it to like a location.
And how is it delivering the message? Are you tying a message to it?
Yeah, like giving it.
Yeah,
like,
so I mean, part of the problem is, you'd have to convince the animal to do it. It has no necessarily like incentive to do that for you.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if you're sending a creature in its sort of natural habitat to somewhere where it's not good, I mean, there's a lot of sort of obstacles there. I'm not saying it's impossible, but there's significant obstacles to that.
Would I know whether Leopold's garrison would have careers?
Give me a history check.
Oh, history?
10.
Okay. As you may remember as a person, not as Graven, from the Genesis, Leopold's garrison is a gentle void fortress, whereupon Beezaura escaped from once upon a time. You obviously don't know that, but you do know that it is a sort of checkpoint for the gentle void. Now, that being said, once again, something we also sort of talked briefly about in previous episodes, the gentle void in the north has a less nefarious reputation than in like Tuktu. It's like guild stuff. They organize, communities and unions for laborers and things. So there is some shady dealings, but it doesn't have that kind of like, Leopold's garrison, like an evil fortress on your way to Navikapura. Yeah.
Okay.
So they might, yes, it has a large presence of sort of workers there, yeah.
I would just assume rather than give Dodd something, perhaps there's something in Leopold's garrison. If not, when we get to Navikapura.
There also might be a wizard in Navikapura who could send a message.
I unfortunately think that if these captors want Marvin dead, he's unfortunately probably dead already. If they're kidnapping him, then we have time.
That's true.
Well, I would.
There would be no reason. Well, just if a message is going to take days to get to. We don't even know where Jillian is. I guess Calcetra is. It would take days to get to.
We should try to do something.
Yes, I agree, but I'm saying that I think doing something now. If they're going to kill him, they're going to kill him. If they're going to keep him alive, they're at least going to keep him alive. He seems clever. He seems like he knows how to talk himself out of things. And unless, he's taken by someone who is actively trying to stop the spread of myconid extract, there is a need to keep him alive.
I would argue that it's more likely, I would think it's more probable that he's being captured because he's a valuable asset when he's alive and can,
Right. Whoever has him has the power to.
However,
he's a huge bargaining
as
chip,
much.
right?
Yes.
However, and if he gets out of this, do you think he would hold it against you for not running to his rescue?
No, I don't think so.
I mean,
He only just wrote this to me. There's no way I could.
He couldn't even. He didn't
and
tell
I don't.
you where he
and
was.
I don't know where he is. He doesn't know where he is. He was blindfolded.
All right.
I don't
He
think
doesn't
so.
know where you are also.
He doesn't.
He's writing in that page. He doesn't know where you are.
I think the opportunity to save him directly passed before we even made it to the harvesting yard.
I do feel bad about that.
Yes, I do too. I believe he's seems a rare person on Anti-Suyu who has a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of power, and is trying to protect people. Everyone else who's had knowledge and power has been using it as some sort of terrible bargaining chip in this damn continent.
Keep an eye on the book. I think it is worth sending Jillian what we've learned.
I agree.
By the time we get a
agree.
chance to send a letter.
I agree.
All right.
I agree, Graven.
My goodness.
As this conversation's kind of winding down,
Dot has like 7 tons mushrooms.
Can I?
you hear a little bit of rustling. Something approaching from the southeast, which is not the direction that Dodd left to go hunting.
Ghostbusters.
And it sounds at first just a little snapping twigs, dry leaves, but it does sound like 2 horses. And a little bit of the ground that they're running over.
On the path that we came?
Like,
pretty much.
But in the direction you were headed, coming the other direction.
South?
They're moving.
No, he's coming from the southeast.
Oh, he's coming from
You
the
guys
south.
were headed east. He's coming like east.
Okay. I'm sorry.
We got it.
Regardless, he's coming in the direction you're headed.
And it's not Dot.
Let's make it easy.
I believe
Yes, because you guys are headed east.
For now.
Yes.
Yes.
And you see a couple people kind of emerging in the tree line. Give me perception checks for everybody. Give everybody.
Ooh, first roll of the day. That's not bad.
15.
15.
16.
6.
Oh, you suck.
Erland's very involved in telling about the...
He's like, did I miss a detail
looking at him.
about Morgan?
But you guys see between the trees a little bit, you can see them coming before they kind of turn the bend a little bit. It looks like two people all riding on horseback. And there's a tiefling man and a human man. Tiefling riding in front and the human riding behind. And the tiefling's kind of stocky. He's got a wide jaw, blood red skin coloration. He's got a heavy black cloak that's covering what looks like a chainmail breastplate. And he has a large glaive that's strapped horizontally kind of to his saddlebag, so a large polearm with a kind of blade on the end. And the man behind him is young, perhaps not even 20, with a full head of wavy hair and a reasonably fine-looking tunic. The expression on his face, however, as he gets closer, is one of absolute misery. He has kind of a deeply sullen face, with reddish eyes that look like he may have been crying recently.
Oh.
He's trying to keep his chin up, but his mouth is crimped into a sharp frown. And he's barely looking forward as his horse kind of dutifully follows the man in front. And so the tiefling man kind of is coming around the bend a little bit first, and he sees you as you're sort of coming up on his right a little bit as he's riding along the path. Afternoon. If you're headed to E2, keep an eye out for lizard folk. It's crawling with them down there.
Yes, we just disposed of some ourselves, actually.
Down the road here?
Orba points in the direction.
Yes.
I have no idea.
To the west, where you came
What?
from.
All of us just stare blankly.
That way.
Yeah, they're there.
But we got him, so it's okay.
You've got it under control.
How suspect? We all point.
I'm just gonna leave you to it.
Thanks for the heads up. He starts to move his horse a little bit. And you see the kid kind of riding behind. He's not bound or in any way like imprisoned. He's sort of holding his reins, sort of sad, not really looking at you, paying you no mind as you're kind of walking by. And he's riding a little bit past. And they continue to move.
Anything to be wary of aside from lizard folk?
Not that I know of. Where are you headed?
Just.
No,
You say the place instead of the
north.
direction.
I know, I'm kidding.
we're heading.
We don't know.
We're heading towards Mill.
I'm coming from further south. Like I said,
E2.
Yeah.
Well, in order to arrive here, you had to, I assume, travel through Mill partially. Anything?
Like I said, lizard folk around.
No.
Tempests bring them in sometimes from the mangroves.
No bandits. No. Can I gesture towards the boy who's sort of crying? No bandits.
No, I'm a guide for this young gentleman. He's been separated from his father, and I'm returning him to safety.
Oh, that's sad.
And as he kind of said that, you see the kid finally sort of perk up to say something. Safety? 'Tis but a prison. A cage built only for the death of dreams. And the guy in front, the tiefling, kind of rolls his eyes at this.
Easy, young squire. Someone who doesn't know you as well as I do might get the wrong impression.
What happened to his father?
And before he can answer, the kid pipes up once
Oh
more.
boy.
You speak of impressions. I speak of impassions. Those preoccupied with scuffling their feet upon the surface will never know the depths to which I strive to delve. Es precus, courage and confidence. And again, you will get an eye roll from the tiefling.
As what?
Esprecus. He's
Esprecus.
Samuel Precus.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
his quoting.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Oh, he's quoting the author. You're fine.
I haven't read that one.
Are you a was Frank Sobel's kid a tiefling?
No.
No, he's.
The kid's a human.
Kids,
Kid's
yes,
human.
kids-
The guide is a tiefling.
Yes.
No, but he said he's a guy, and Frank Sobel was guiding someone.
Oh, sorry. Gotcha.
Oh.
The map guy, the guy who made the map.
That dude.
He sort of moves to turn and...
Well, I gotta get him back to his father.
Why does he talk so funny?
He doesn't talk funny, he's just from a rich family.
What family?
Right.
And he looks at the kid, and the kid kind of looks back at him to like see...
He's the son of one of the principals at Tukt.
Oh, which one?
Principal Pissarro. This is Niven Pissarro. Say hi, Niven. And he's
Hi, Niven.
Hello.
Hi, Niven.
Did you escape or something?
No. I'm on a mission of love. And he sort of waves away. He escaped, and we're taking him back.
Were you going after someone?
Yes. Most beautiful elf in the world.
And where is that elf?
She's alright, enough. I'm the one claiming the reward for this. Thank you.
I'm not after the award, I was just wondering.
Frankly, curious.
And he seems like he's about to maybe give a little bit of an explanation, and at this you hear a little more snapping. And you see Dodd pushing through the trees, and again he sort of has a bushel of mushrooms that he tracks down, and he sort of looks at the two people on horseback. DeMello, good to see you. And Mr. Pissarro, a pleasure as always. And at this, the kid kind of looks over. Good afternoon, Mr. Zlotko. Is it that time of year already? The time of year when those with the physical means and take my father's money to overpower those with the means of mind? Yes, Mr. Zlotko, I think it is that time of year. You know she's getting closer to that age. She's not going to choose you. She's going to choose her people. They always do. And at this he kind of gets a little sullen. We'll see, Mr. Zlotko. We'll see.
You're in love with an Ackley elf?
Not just an Ackley elf.
Sorry.
Her name is a Perva. And she is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Where does she live?
If you know anything about the Ackley elves, you know that they travel around, so I cannot tell you where she's from.
How
An
do you...
ignorant question from a small being.
Whoa.
I was going to say it's very honorable of you to try to woo her, even though you know it's not likely, but should I take it back?
No, thank you. And at this, the tiefling kind of points to the group.
Are they yours?
Yes, they are looking to travel quickly through the grove, so I'm taking them through Joiruc. Tumelo here, and now he's pointing to the tiefling and addressing him, is another Pat Wall, one of the guides of the Ackley Forest.
All right.
Do you have a specific role, much like Dodd's here?
I think most of the time, Mr. Tumelo and I do the same thing, Copper Claw Bears. But when things are slow, we have them situated in their various communities. We take on guide work, any other contract that finds its way into the Ackley Forest.
It's not exactly your average group of tourists you have here.
And at this, Dodd sort of looks at Beezaura, and then at Safira, and then at Orba. No, they certainly are not your average group of tourists.
Well, keep a sharp eye, because just south of the ruins, Mahevis was leading one of his forgiveness walks, and he got chased off by some Lizzies. Even had to leave some of their things behind. You think they were headed into the Ruins of Joiruc? Can't say. Not the first I've heard of attacks recently.
Mahevis?
Yeah, one of the Ackley elves.
Forgiveness walks?
Yeah, they, perhaps you've heard the story of,
Who's the guy in the story? He racks
You know, the guy with the sword and the thing. He does the thing. It's...
Falguest, there we go.
Oh, Falgus, yeah.
Heard the story of Falguest, possibly the downfall of Joiruc. Tortured animal spirits. No one's heard the story.
No, yes, he had the dagger,
We
yes.
have heard this.
Yes. Well, these forgiveness walks, they go near the ruins and they sort of pray for forgiveness, the sins of Falguest.
Right. And something happened to them? They were chased off this?
Yeah, chased off by lizard folk, like I said.
Oh, it's a bummer. We were hoping to poke around. You haven't seen anything interesting sort of at the ruins?
I didn't get too close to the ruins. We came up from...
We know there's the fog, right? But we just wanted to see if there was any structures that sort of, remained.
lots of the structures remain in Joiruc, but like I said, I wasn't in the city.
Right.
I wouldn't be too worried. I still can't really see for shit. Like you said, fog's pretty thick.
Yeah.
Just be quiet. Usual. Thank you. We will keep an eye out. Try to be quiet as we pass through. Does this change the plan for anyone?
No.
Good.
Mr. Mevin, sir,
Yes.
you really like this lady?
Yes, I do. I think that like is a rather bold understatement.
Well, if you really like her, you should just move here.
Yes, I considered that. But the Ackley Elves they won't necessarily have me as part of their community.
Oh, well, you should become of use, like these two gentlemen here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, well, my talents are more in that of learning and knowledge, not so much in
Yes, well, if you're so
tracking
good at
and
learning and
hunting.
knowledge, I'm sure you could learn to track and hunt.
Who taught you?
I've learned from many of the better schools.
In Tuktu?
Yes.
Which precinct is your which district is your father in charge of?
He's in charge of the 5th, but I went to school in the 2nd.
Is Valko still the principal there?
Yes, he is.
You know him well?
I've met him a number of times, yes,
Studied
as a
under-
headmaster.
You've studied underneath him then?
Not from him directly, as I said, he is the headmaster.
So are you still going to school, given the lockdowns, or...?
No, I have not been in the past few days. You know Mr. Lavinia?
From a long time ago, yes.
Seems fine enough. Well schooled.
Sure. Have you trained anywhere else outside of Tuktu?
No.
No, not much of a scholar then, are you? Most scholars travel the entire continents.
Yes, well, I am very young, so I have time.
Well, there's always time, isn't there?
Someday I hope to go to the Halls of Transmutation. Study there.
Any, does that seem likely? Are you at the head of your class?
I think I'm fairly well off, yes.
Yes. Well, my understanding... How old's this kid?
17, 18 years old.
Okay. Would I know how young people normally go to the Halls of Transmutation? Is it like...
It depends. I mean, as young as 14, if you're some kind of, particularly adept in something. I mean, it could be... people are accepted later if they're
How
found.
old were you, buddy? Like, just your own personal experience.
It
Like,
varies,
there you
but
go.
usually as a teenager,
Cool. So while I'm eating mushrooms, I'll sort of say to
Probably.
him, well, I hear I mean, who am I to know, but I hear the truly gifted get snatched up quite a bit younger than 17, 18.
I've actually heard the same. Interesting.
Yes, well, I've had my mind on other things, like I said. The pursuits of love.
Will she come live with you then?
I would like that very much. And at that, Dodd kind of...
Well, best of luck.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Good luck, everyone. Dodd, Demelo. I hope I did not come back too early. Are you done with your conversation?
No, thank you.
Yep. Thank you for allowing that.
He starts to put some of the mushrooms in kind of one of his hands.
Do the Ackley elves have a sort of sirens effect on the men in the area?
No. I think you just met this girl, I don't know, on some kind of journey up north, perhaps.
Why are
His
you
father
nervous,
is
Graven?
Do you know this girl that he's infatuated with?
I've met her before, yes.
And he does this every
year or so, Nevis runs off to into the woods to find her, and every year or so his father gets in contact with one of the Pat Walls to bring him back to Tuktu.
Seems like he's not very good at it.
Not very good at what?
He keeps getting caught.
Well, he's just going to one of the Ackley communities. How much can you really hide?
What does she think of this?
I think she likes him, but when she gets older, I think she will choose her people over him.
Do MacLeods always end up with MacLeods?
Most of the time, yes.
Did you ever like an Eckley elf?
No. I think my days of romance are long behind me.
Why is that?
Oh my god.
You don't always meet the right people in the Aqua.
All 4 of our heads just
I understand.
Where do you meet the right people?
Yeah. Why do you say that is?
My God.
I can't.
You're still young. You have time.
Perhaps. I will rest for a moment and then we will pick back up on the road.
Yes, please take a moment.
Sort of put some of the things in his bag. Just kind of getting ready.
It all starts with a mushroom forage.
Oh, brother.
Pick up that mushroom right there.
It glows. Our hands glow together.
I thought I was going to see a bit more steam out of you for a minute there.
Oh my gosh.
Not until after a long rest.
Oh, God. Oh,
Truly.
So dumb.
I hate all of it.
You guys get on your horses and you begin to travel once again after a moment of resting here. You have a bite to eat, sort of digesting the information, and now sort of with renewed focus on the road ahead. And still on high alert for any kind of new signs of ambush, Dodd, nevertheless, he kind of picks up his pace a little bit. You're in this area where the trees have enough space, as he sort of promised, for you guys to make pretty good time, travel pretty quickly through the woods here. Feel the party gaining a little bit of momentum towards the ruins. And even with the distractions, you feel that it was well worthwhile to opt for this kind of detour through Isi toward Meal. Beyond the promises of making better time, there's sort of a psychological component to it as well. The feeling of this kind of pleasant ride as opposed to slogging and hacking your way through the dense forestation. Some time passes. And you see Dodd at one point, after a little bit, you see him press down his heels into his stirrups to kind of push himself up so he can see up a little better past the head of his horse. He seems to be kind of trying to spot something in front of him. And after a moment, he relaxes and sits back down and he turns his horse to face the group. I'd like to make a very quick stop on the road up ahead, if you don't mind. Only a minute or two. It's also an interesting bit of Ackley lore, if you care to know it. I will explain on the way so as not to waste more of your time.
Of course.
Sure.
And he turns a little bit, but he slows up a little bit to allow everyone to kind of catch up and be within kind of talking distance. I'm not an overly spiritual man, but there are some Ackley traditions that I have come to appreciate. There is a tree coming up on this path, branches cut and stripped of bark. They say that you can carve a message into it for someone who is dead, and that person will receive the message in the afterlife. I don't know if that is true for sure, but I like the sentiment. I try to visit this place every once in a while just to pay my respects to fallen friends. Not something I'm very good at doing on my own. It's easier when you see the other messages to offer your condolences.
That's
Why?
No, please go ahead.
Why the dead? Is there anyone buried beneath this tree?
I don't believe so. It's not like that. It's just more about the ritual of the tree itself. Holds some importance. It's been around for quite some time. I don't know entirely when it was started, this tradition. Long before I got here.
Whereabouts are we on the...
You're probably getting very close to the EC Mill. The ruins are like still in EC, but close to the EC Mill border. Yeah, so you guys are like just to the left of that a little bit. Yep, like in that hexagon.
Okay, so we're not... So that tree he's talking about is not at the border.
If it's like he implies, like literally just up the road, then that you would not have reached the border yet at that point. Yeah. Unlikely. Every full moon, the skin on the tree grows back and the carvings are erased. And it is at this time you can send another message. Or that's how the story goes. The tree sort of heals itself.
And the moon is tonight?
No, you don't have to do it on the full moon. It's just when a full moon happens, the writing goes away, and you can offer your condolences to the same person or someone new. One other interesting thing about it, as I said, you might find this interesting, is that the tree has certainly some magic in it, enough to detect death. If you carve a name into the tree, as if you're sending a message to someone that is dead, but the person is not dead, the tree immediately heals itself. The carvings close, and it's as if you wrote nothing at all. Now, Tumelo, who you just met, was pleased to find this out when he went to leave a message for a friend from his childhood that he thought was dead, and they have since reconnected because he realized that he was not dead.
Wow.
So, just a neat bit of information about the tree.
Can you write messages to more than one person?
As the story goes, only the first message will reach its target until after a full moon, when you can write another message.
And if the person is not dead, and it is erased, can you write another one?
I don't believe so, no. So I have heard. You're welcome to try.
Have you always written to the same person?
I am sad to say that I have more than one person that I wish to pay my respects to.
Sorry.
It's lovely that you get to leave them something, though.
I try.
Would the tree recognize a nickname, perhaps?
I believe that the tree supposedly passes the message through you, so if you use a name that you are familiar with, it should make it to its target.
Sounds interesting.
This is how obviously people have shared names. People have the same name all across the continent. But if you write it, it should know who you mean. The other impression that I've been given is that it must be someone that you know personally. Otherwise, it will not be able to detect them through you. So you can't write a message to someone you've never met.
So you personally write several messages to different people?
Well, just one at a time. Each full moon, if I make it back around here, I try to write to someone new. Yes. Is that all right with everyone?
Of course, yes.
Yes.
I would love to participate in this.
And he rides forward a little bit. And you ride forth, and at a certain point, Dodd kind of veers off to the left a little bit, kind of seemingly as you see it from behind, leaving the trail. But when you get up there, you see this slight kind of gap between two trees that looks just as well traveled as the path that you're on. It leads to a small clearing, and it's not entirely obvious whether the clearing is man-made, as if like the trees around it have been cut down, or that if the tree that stands in the center has some kind of aura or just the roots, some kind of presence that keeps a little bit of space around it. And as advertised, this central tree has been stripped entirely of its bark, leaving just the kind of smooth beige layer on the trunk and a couple sort of measly stunted branches up above. It's much shorter than the surrounding trees as well. Like if you just kind of looked at it, the grove from a distance, you wouldn't see this tree sticking out. It's smaller than its neighbors. From top to bottom, you see all these carved messages, almost entirely written in Elvish. The vast majority of the messages are written in Elvish, and rarely more than just a couple words or a sentence. And you can tell that, or you assume that it's been a while since the last full moon. Space is pretty limited on the tree. There's quite a lot of carvings all the way from the bottom all the way to the top branches. There are a few spots that you could eke out a short message, especially if you're kind of willing to climb to the upper portions that haven't been as heavily utilized. Dodd kind of rides over. Swings a leg around. Takes a little knife out of his bag. I'm going to write something. You're under no obligation to, of course, but
I'm gonna kind of step back to give him a little privacy.
Yeah, kind of let him go.
The tree's also big enough that, like, if you were standing on the other side, you're not, like, right next to each other. Like,
The tree doesn't look... Does the tree look anything like the one on the map that Graven
it doesn't.
has?
First of all, it has no branches.
Yeah.
And all the branches have been, like, cut off, yes.
That, and we haven't seen any of the markers that say we're, like, in between.
Yeah.
the two.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, this is not that tree.
Can Orba sit and start ritually casting Detect Magic?
Sure. Cool. Yeah. And you see Dodd go up to the tree, he's starting to just carve a little bit of the tree.
I'll take a little, like, food knife or whatever. We might have, like, a
Food
little paring
knife.
knife
You
or
want a
something
dagger?
like that.
Do you have a blade? I mean,
Alright, maybe not yet.
takes his battle axe out. He's like,
Yeah.
I just start flailing.
Graven was here.
God. Please.
Graven, can I use that once you're done?
Sure.
I'll wait behind.
Is there, with my height, can I kind of...
Yeah,
rest
I mean,
in a
again,
spot
there
that
is
has-
space. You can write like a fucking essay, but yeah, there's space between things that are there.
Darn it.
Graven's gonna kind of see if he can muster up any names.
Just like names of yesteryear.
Mom, siblings. Sangri, La.
You carve it in. It takes a moment to get kind of all the letters on. And you step back, and usually you can see a number of others. There's like a name and then a short message underneath or whatever. And you step back for a moment. And you wait. And the carvings of the tree close. It's just a blank spot where the name was carved. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh my god!
I celebrated too soon.
Oh
Inspiration. I don't know
no!
if that does anything for you.
Yeah.
Constitution saving throw.
Yeah.
14.
As you're watching it, right after it's sort of the last little bits of the carving close, you see a little bit of like steam rising from the tree. And there's almost like a little bit of sort of smoke as if the tree is almost catching on fire a little bit. And you reach out your hand to kind of touch where the name was, and you take your hand away, and it stopped. And there's like a charred mark there, kind of. But no lasting damage to the tree. As far
And
as
there's nothing on my hands.
a little bit of soot from where you kind of placed it against them.
Look around.
Heart's pounding.
Saw anything. I'll just walk over to Beezaura and hand her the dagger.
I will go up to the tree.
How close are we all to it, just in terms of being like, did we see the tree catch fire a little bit?
So
or-
it never caught fire. I mean,
Yeah.
you definitely saw Graven carve into it, and then as his back was to you, so he's kind of in front of it, but as he sort of stepped back, you saw a little bit of smoke rising. You saw Graven kind of touch it a little bit, and then come back. And as he sort of retreats from it, there's no writing there. It looks like a
Okay.
little scorched mark on the tree.
Is it dangerous? Does it fight
happened?
back?
I don't think so.
Do I know I mean, I should know. I don't have like a memory lapse, but like my mom's first name.
You do. We can say that you write it. If you
Yeah.
wish to. It also,
It's not-
again,
yeah.
he said nicknames. The implication is the
Yeah.
tree sort of works through you. So even if you wrote
Matt.
Mom, it would know who you were talking
Okay.
about.
So I'm gonna write that on the tree. And nothing happens, I'm guessing. And do I just keep writing the message?
If you wish.
Okay. And I'll say as if I'm like saying that, like, I'm going to make the family stronger than it ever was. I'm sorry.
Do you write that in common? I believe you speak Halfling as well, which is what I asked.
I will write it in Halfling.
Okay.
That's interesting. That makes for a better message. It's just me. No one can read it.
Yeah.
And I write that.
Sure. And it comes back as the Orba's dagger.
Does anybody else want to go?
I still need a moment to think.
It seems like at this point Dodd is done writing his message, but he's kind of just stepped back a little bit. He seems like he's sort of saying a little something under his breath as well, but he is done sort of carving it
Okay.
on the other side of the tree.
I'll take the dagger. I'll go up to it and in Dwarfish, I'm gonna write Gurmari.
Okay.
I regret nothing.
And before you even get that message all the way out, starts to close up on the tree. Sort of get to the end of that first sentence, and the first parts of it are already starting to disappear kind of as you're carving it.
Can I go over to Dodd?
Yeah, you can.
Sort of flip the
Who
knife.
did you write to, if you don't mind me asking?
A brother of mine.
When did you lose him?
He fought during the war. He's older than me.
I'm sorry. Is this the first time you've ever written to him?
No.
Have you ever had any of your messages been erased and then reconnected, like your friend?
No, I've only written to people that I know are dead.
Well, I'm sorry you've had to come back so many times to do so. But this was nice. I haven't seen the person I've written to in some time.
Like I said, this is one of the rituals of theirs that I like. Even if the message doesn't get there, I like that it seems to pass the magic through you. As if you're speaking to them even when you're not normally able to.
I agree. I'm not one for many traditions, so this one seemed appropriate.
Just flip the dagger around and say, do either of you
Also, give me a perception check as you walk up to the tree. As you sort of were writing it there.
14.
14. A lot of the messages are written in Elvish, like I said. You don't really notice anything in particular other than a lot of it's like a name and then a short message. A lot of the short messages are, your presence was a gift. You see that over and over on the tree in a number of places.
That's nice.
Either of you?
Am I done ritually casting, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
The tree...
It's the wind.
That's the wind?
Mother?
The tree is glowing with magic, definitely.
What kind?
With necromancy.
Okay.
And again, necromancy isn't necessarily it's
Bad.
to do with the it just means to do with the dead. And yes.
Anything underground or surrounding?
Not that you can see, no.
Okay. I have something, but if you want to use the dagger, please.
I mean, you know.
If no one has a loved one, I'm just curious if Benji's still alive.
I was wondering that too!
Because you're abusing the tree.
I'm so curious.
But also, no
want
one
to check on Mr. Bishop.
Well, he just wrote.
I already wrote someone, and I honestly don't know if Marvin Bishop being alive or not.
Right?
The only reason
But Benji being alive.
however, there's something very curious of if we were ambushed and he disappeared the way that he did. That's curious.
Look, I was going to use my carving to check on something, and I could use it to check on Benji.
No, check if you have something important. Check on
the loved one. Not
I mean,
Benji. No offense.
Benji, and I'm curious about Blom as well, but that's not important necessarily.
Blom, I think, might have, you know.
I had 2 people to write to, and now we're talking about.
What?
Again, if you have someone to write to them. Those are people that we all collectively know and have been asking about.
It's true. Well,
Oh, hold the dagger out for either of them.
Go ahead.
okay, I'm going to take the dagger, walk up to the tree, and I'm going to write Watchy Road and see
You finish the name.
If anything happens.
Let's see what's up.
Just checking. And then I'm gonna kind of back away from the tree and
Okay. So Orba takes the dagger. She's also gonna really, hesitantly approach this necromancy tree. And she's gonna, just reach out and touch it for a sec. Nothing happened? Okay. Also, just checking. Okay.
Pats it.
just checking.
Good. Nice.
Be kind to me now.
And assuming it knows nicknames and stuff, right?
And again, to clarify on that, necromancy magic isn't necessarily raising the dead or corruption of the. It's any kind of communication with the afterlife. That all falls under the greater umbrella of necromancy.
Right.
Bringing somebody back from the dead is necromancy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Life.
Okay, Orba's gonna take the knife and she's gonna write, Father, I'm free.
The gaps of the tree fill in.
I'm done.
Was that in common?
Nope, it was in
Infernal?
Infernal, yeah.
Nope.
Shut your mouth.
Also, if the message doesn't stick on the tree,
Yeah.
she's standing right in front of it. I mean, you barely saw it.
Your business.
Look,
Dot's kind of moving around the tree. He looks where three different people have gone to write a message, and there's nothing on the tree. So, was there a problem of some kind?
I think a lot of us had, a lot of us might have been wondering if some people we knew were still around.
A worthwhile use of the tree, perhaps.
can I sort of, as other people are rare, can I sort of I just want to walk around the tree and see if, I guess I recognize anyone. Actually, can I see where Dodd carved it?
Are you attempting to not be seen as you do this?
I just want to be walking around the tree looking at all the
Okay.
different names.
Are you? But again, are you
Okay.
attempting to not clearly be looking where he wrote?
How was his place really specific? If I'm just kind of walking around the tree looking at everything, could I?
Suppose. I'm just saying, are you trying to? Is the point?
Yeah. No, I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm just trying to look at everything.
Give me a perception check.
14.
14. So you look. You sort of run your eyes up and down. Again, you see a lot of short messages from what you assume are MacLeod, sort of saying your presence was a gift, thinking of you, messages to that effect. And you do see where it looks like, judging simply by sort of where he was carving, he wrote it in Elvish as well.
Mm-hmm. Is he a human?
He's a human, yeah. But he speaks. You've
Yeah.
seen him speak
Yeah.
Elvish already to the Ackley Elves, and he wrote MacLar, MAKLAR. I'm sorry. Rest easy, brother.
That's nice.
Sweet.
And I keep circling the tree and just looking for other messages.
Thank you for indulging me in this moment. Hopefully, not too much time out of our travels.
Thanks, not necessary.
Onward to the ruins, I think.
Yes.
Can I, as I finish circling the tree, just sort of say your presence was a gift seems to be written sort of over and over again.
A common message among the Ackley Elves, yes.
It's very sweet.
And I'll sort of point to one of the ones that say your present was a gift, and sort of, because not everyone speaks Elvish, so it'll be these characters mean.
You can see that written in a number of places, the same series of lines.
Let's go.
All right.
Okay.
Pick up the energy a bit, maybe, on the path.
Okay.
Let's go. He gets back on his horse. Foot over, and you ride back out from that little sort of glade back out on the main path. Dog turns, starts to lead you once again in a sort of eastern direction. And that's where we're going to take a little break. Right before we make our way all the way.
She's alive!
Found out a little. I was wondering who would see who was alive and who would sort of write a
I
message.
really
I
wanna
couldn't
know
decide if I
she's
wanted to do my
alive.
mom or Ferd. And I was like, ooh. Then if he was
in
so-
my notes, I had all these if they ask, dead. If they ask, alive. If they ask, dead.
I mean, your decision was real. My decision was Benji
Yeah.
or Blom?
I really want to know, Ben.
I was like,
Desperately
thank
We should have asked. I
An
almost
episode,
forgot it.
session 0
Yeah.
encounter
No,
for those.
yeah.
I was
It's
like,
not even on YouTube.
No,
It's
it's
all
actually
over.
all
I should
legendary
thank
Session
Bird
Zero
for what
encounter.
he did, but I haven't talked to my family.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us as always as we continue our journey toward the the Ruins of Joiruc.
Ruins.
We will pick it up there on the other side. We'll take a little break for dinner.
We got some stuff to announce.
Please, some stuff.
Ponder 1894 resub, thank you so much. Comrades Hotel gifted 2 subs, thank you so much. Go Buckeyes gifted 5 subs, thank you so much.
We're sorry your character died though, Go Buckeyes. That's what we're
Yeah,
saying.
very sorry, rest in peace, Brett. And Banished Roper also did 100 biets.
Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm forgetting.
When I was writing to my mom in the tree, I was gonna do a joke. Even though my mom is healthy and alive, thank you so much. But I was gonna do a joke
Really
and write
dark
like
joke.
hockey lovers.
And the
She's
tree's
in
like,
chat.
I don't know who that is.
That's the nickname I had for my mom. That's my mom's name.
Also, for anybody who's new, 5 minutes into our break video, there's a recap of last episode. Spoiler alert. I don't really think there's any crazy spoilers, but it helps you get caught up on things. And I think that's all that I have to say.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Awesome. We'll see you guys on the other side. We'll pick it up there.
She's alive. 57. We're all running from something. Erland waits for his companions to rest before he identifies himself to Dodd as another disciple from Atonement's End.
We both have the same tattoo on our back. Not exactly the same, but very similar. When did you graduate?
I never graduated from anywhere.
When did you get remission then?
The time I spent with Remy Puranoy made me cold-hearted and miserable. But when I applied for remission, it was his recommendation that held the most weight.
Atonement's End requires its monks to complete fieldwork in order to gain remission. Erland is struggling with balancing his need for freedom and avoiding immoral tasks.
More field work comes up, yes. You left and came back and left and came back.
Yes. The older you get, the less work you're given. And you would be surprised what you can cope with over time, over long enough.
I hope I am part of the 7%. I don't want to die there.
As the sun rises the next day, Dodd leads our friends north on horseback, which is when Erland sees a secret message being written in his copy of Gurmari's giant grimoire, presumably by Marvin Bishop.
I write in haste, as my time in solitude is limited. You may have heard that Rugeni and I had a falling out over certain uses of myconid extract, and this is true. He believed that organic alchemy was made possible with the extract, and spoke of using it on those very near to death as a way to both prolong their life and foster a greater population of myconids, so that the need to harvest them inhumanely was diminished or eliminated entirely.
Marvin believes someone other than Rugeni Gurmari is behind the evils of myconid extract, and mentions a man that visited him while imprisoned by the Lemonade Man in Mukmu.
He introduced himself as Dardanok Jr. Curious, considering Dardanok, assuming it was the Dardanok, was not known to have a son. He then said I would soon be moved to a secure spot in Uranchupa for my own safety. Our caravan was ambushed.
Oh, God.
I did not recognize those that apprehended me, and I was blindfolded before being carted off somewhere else and locked into a basement. It was there that... And the writing stops.
As Erland takes in Marvin's message, Graven receives one from his deity Kuuzni, warning him about Orba.
You should seek to replace her with another companion. When the time comes and the beast is to be slain, she will try to stop you.
Nothing will stop me.
She sources her power from the dead. A natural opposite to the gods of light and their clerics.
She is a powerful wizard of her own right. She can aid in this.
You'd better be right.
But as Graven reassures his god, the group travels through a wasteland of corpses. Black Lion barbarians killed a century ago, yet lacking any signs of decomposition. Orba hears the spirit's voices in her head.
Focus, Orba. Do not lose yourself. Demand the respect of the dead.
And how would you suggest that I do this?
Do not give in.
Orba becomes overwhelmed by the voices and begins writhing in pain. Dodd sees the eyes of the corpses flicker toward Orba.
Keep her moving, and don't touch any of them with your bare hands.
Battered but alive, Orba and her companions push past the bodies.
So much for no spirit.
So have you ever seen that before?
Yes, when someone touches the bodies,
Right, but she didn't.
if you say so.
You alright?
I don't know what's happening, Graven.
I don't know how to help you.
Get me to Navikapura.
The travelers continue on, but it's not long before they're ambushed by lizard folk.
We're being attacked. Target the shamans first, or you'll never get free.
22.
You have like 2 HP left. The thing has like 3 HP, yeah.
Yeah, baby!
What the hell was that?
And that's where we will end.
Can Dodd get our friends out of the grove? Will they find a soul shelter hidden in the ruins? Did Graven and Orba's relationship just get a little bit more complicated? Find out next time on Tabletop Notch.
Welcome back, everybody. Some discoveries made at the tree in the Ackley Woods about the living and the dead. Some messages doled out, as well as some messages not sent due to the tree's magical properties. And picking back up on your path to the east, you ride for perhaps an hour through more of the same. Ribboned red bark trees, so commonplace at this point, that their novelties begun to fade. And the loss of their luster is both figurative and literal, for at the base of the forest, what used to be a paper-thin layer of mist has grown into an ankle or knee-high fog that dulls the vibrant plant life considerably. Sitting on horseback, it's not obstructing your vision yet, moving forward. But you do notice Dodd kind of craning his neck and slows his pace a little bit, just to make sure that he's not leading his horse into any kind of unstable ground. I'm sure you can already tell, but we're getting close. The exterior wall of Joiruc is mostly intact in a lot of places, but if my trajectory has been good, and I think it has, we should be hitting the ruin at about the south gate. That is where we will enter from.
Okay, alright.
A couple of things to say as the fog sets in. I think it should be obvious that we need to stay close to each other.
Right.
With the shadows of the ruined buildings to confuse you, it can be easy to lose track of what is friend and what is foundation. If you do get separated, try to find what looks like a water wheel lying on its side. These devices were originally for keeping leaves and pollen out of the streets of Joiruc, but they can be used to temporarily push back the fog so you can see a little bit further if you get lost. They spin around and the fog dissipates. It will come back quickly, but it will give you a little view of what's around you. Shouting is also an option, but as I mentioned, you should be aware that there are many animals that make the ruins their home. This could alert them to your presence. And we ride and we hold for a moment as the honking from the outside.
I couldn't tell if that was a dramatic hold or.
It was not.
Somber777 just subscribed, so thank you.
Very much.
What timing, Somber? What time?
Yes, we still haven't seen any signs that show us that we're near the border.
No, and again, his implication is that the ruins were still... The ruins themselves are entirely in EC. It's very close to the border, but entirely inside of EC.
Which is where we are.
Yes.
Okay. So to get to
is
the
this
border,
not
we
where we
have to
wanna
kind of
go?
be on the other side of the ruins.
Yeah, so I think once you passed all the way through the ruins, you could head a little bit further east and hit the border very quickly.
Okay.
Yes. So, or you could do that before you entered the ruins, but...
I was gonna say, so the border. So if we're, it's like it's to the southern end of EC.
Yep.
Just give it to me.
Just let me.
We can put it big for a second. So, what were you? So you guys are traveling through EC, kind of through here. Each hex represents kind of a quarter day's travel about.
So I was just saying, we're trying to traverse this sort of border here a little.
Yes. So the ruins are kind of heading. The ruins are kind
On
of
like the southern
north.
end. Okay.
Yeah, kind of like right here, but not quite at the border of EC Meal.
Okay, so as we kind of go, so we're seeing the fog, and we're not even quite in EC yet, given that we're not at the.
Oh,
ruins
you've been
yet.
in EC this whole time.
We've been traveling this way.
Yes,
I
you
guess,
went into
right?
EC when you went to the Elven camp, and
I
you've been
see.
traveling more or less due east during that
I
time.
see. So we're gonna be over here, and then we can sort of head a little bit more east and sort of travel.
Yep.
Upward. Okay, I see.
It's all coming together now.
Easy.
Easy.
Easy, so easy.
So easy to understand.
The fog is disorienting, but the nice thing about it is that if you move through quickly and quietly, you're unlikely to run into anyone or anything. If you don't draw the attention of the animals, they probably won't see you at all.
Okay, and you haven't found any way to dispel this fog?
Fog's been around long before I got here.
Right. I mean, is it helpful for one of us to have a light source, something that we can grab onto if one of us should get, sidetracked or want to look at something? We should have maybe 2 or 3 of us holding a light?
You can see a light source at least for maybe 50 feet or so before it gets drowned out, yes.
Is there any reason we'd need to be separated significantly if we stay on
I'm
the
just
My
saying.
suggestion is we stay within less than 15 feet of each other. That way you can see each other with your eyes.
I would
I
agree.
can make light, but just.
Just-
what are
I
you
mean,
saying?
just
Does
in
anyone else have a
case.
torch?
No, I just mean
People have
like,
torches.
should we be holding something in this fog just in case we, if
Right,
something
but
were to
he's-
attack us like a creature,
I think-
and we had to separate from one another, then it would be really useful to have some of us
Right, but
holding
other
lights.
than Graven's light producing, do you have anything? Because he can
Well, I
only
mean,
do
even
that.
if I held a torch, if something attacked us, I would have to put the torch down in order to fight it.
I
I
say
think if
stay
something
close.
happens badly enough
Yeah.
that you're attacked, at that point, use your voice,
Valid.
and hopefully we don't draw more attention.
I suppose.
For now, I say we just stay close and move through.
Okay. Let's go.
Right, even further. The fog continues to rise.
Oh boy. Creepy.
And as it continues to rise, you have this sort of sensation of sinking. You're not sinking, but you know you're on level ground, but the haze has kind of reached belly level of the horses. So at a casual glance, all your companions kind of look like they're kind of floating through the mist, as if the horses are kind of swimming through this.
I love that.
And Dodd leads on with confidence. He's getting into a rhythm of his sort of experience with these woods. He takes a decisive left after one little small clearing. Proceeds straight underneath some low-hanging branches. And finally, looking up a bit into the distance, the endless browns, greens, and reds of the grove, they give way to this immense sheet of kind of a textured pinkish stone. Walls of Joiruc. And because the city had no moat or kind of raised area around the perimeter, the walls seemed to have materialized in a hurry, a hidden city in the heart of the grove that you could easily come within a half or even a quarter mile of and never know it was there if you didn't know where to look for it. In parts, the fog also seems to be pouring out between the merlons on the top of the wall. The fog seems to have raised much higher within the city, and then as it pours over the top of the walls, it kind of disperses along the ground, almost as if sort of pouring a liquid over the walls. Based on how, you start to see the portion of the exterior that Dodd's leading you toward. So you saw the wall, but he's kind of leading you off to the right just a little bit. There's this wide, unusual-looking metal gate consisting of two metal sheets, one on top of each other, with a thin slit between them. And based on how the gates are affixed to the walls, it looks like it opens not portcullis style, which is common for sort of an exterior fortification. Not a swinging door either, but the top and bottom seems like they open up almost like the opening of a mouth, like it goes
Weird.
opens like that. So as it kind of as it opens, you can walk over it and then it
I
closes.
don't know
on
why
it.
I
That's
hate
the
that
line.
so much, but I hate that so much.
I'm okay with the fog. I'm okay with.
We're already getting swallowed by these foggy ruins, and no.
And as you get closer, you're struck by how intact the outer defenses seem. For a supposed ruin, hundreds of years old, you expected maybe more crumbling, more deterioration. But aside from a few cracks in the walls, chunks missing from the parapets, it's in remarkably good shape. Dodd rides forward. Welcome to Joiruc. Now, in the past, depending on who I was leading through, this next part I would typically do alone. But as I have seen, you are very capable in physical regards. I wouldn't mind asking for some help. Opening the gates here requires a bit of a climb and some jumping to get where the mechanisms are that open the gate. Are any of you feeling particularly light on your feet? Good at jumping?
One of us, probably.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to...
He's like,
Oh,
I need
yes,
one
take
person.
And he sort of leads you up to this gate, and it gets bigger and bigger. It's fairly wide, this gate, sort of larger than your average, but it's also, the ceiling is very low. Like, even if you're riding on horseback and you were to ride in, it would be barely above your head, as opposed to like sort of some of the larger gaping gates, like the ones you saw in Tuktu, are sort of larger, higher gates. And he leads you over and he dismounts. And he takes a couple of ropes from his saddlebags, opens them up, takes a couple of ropes out, closes it again. And he loops them over his shoulder, and he also takes his bow. Take a weapon, just in case. One time I found a group of veggie pygmies hiding in the gatehouse. Very annoying, especially when you have to crouch down and stab at them with a knife. Not good for the back.
So quarterstaff won't do?
That should be fine.
Alright, cool.
He slings that over his shoulder as well.
As is common with fortifications, there are two gates, the exterior and the interior gate. We are obviously standing here at the exterior gate. If you look here, a while back someone cleverly hammered these spikes into the wall. And you see there's these like pitons, like the climbing spikes that have been hammered in, and they're sort of zigzag up a little bit, and then maybe 30, maybe even more, 35, 40 feet, there's like a window up there into what you presume is the gatehouse. It looks like someone has made a way for you to climb up into the gatehouse. You can reach the window from here. And inside, we can get to the cranks that open the gates. After we've opened the first one, if the rest of you could be so kind as to lead our horses through. And then the gate will close when we get out of those, when we finish with those cranks, and then we will go to the second set of cranks. We will open those, you will lead all the horses through, and then we will join you on the other side. There is a window down there as well that you can reconnect with you on the other side.
I have a climbing kit of myself. Would that be useful at all?
The ropes are mainly as a precaution. I don't think you're going to need them, but...
Good luck.
When we let go and move to the second mechanism, the first gate will slam shut very quickly, so just make sure that all of the horses are all the way in. Don't let it hit you.
Sure.
Okay.
And then when everyone's through, we will climb down on the other side. We will meet you back up.
Great.
And he starts to go. He goes over to the wall, grabs onto the pitons, and he starts to climb.
I'll give him a little bit of room and then follow him up.
You follow him up. Now this part's fairly easy. There's clearly climbing spikes in the wall that are made for you to get up to the window. And you start to do so. And you guys watch them kind of work their way up, and then Dodd sort of pulls himself through the window, and then you watch Erland pull him through it. You pull yourself through, and you find yourself in this kind of barren, low-ceilinged room that the fog has permeated through. The whole room is full of fog as well. It's difficult to see much further than like 20 feet in any direction. And what was once looked like it was like a wooden flooring, like a solid wooden flooring, it looks like it's deteriorated over time. And most of the parts where the flooring is still up is like near the edges of the wall. So you see Dodd kind of shuffling along the edges because it's collapsed in the middle. Okay. So like over time, the wood has given way. Just make sure you stick to the edges. Follow me. Don't get lost.
Okay. How high is the fog in here?
It's all the way
it
encompasses.
So just so I'm picturing it, is the fog literally like, 20 feet in the air, or is it kind of climbed over and like billowed in, and you know what I'm saying?
It looks like it's kind of just hanging, permeated in the whole place.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sort of hanging static,
stationary.
stationary.
Now that we're fully here, it wasn't like before where we're sort of up to, is this kind of everywhere?
Yes, now that you've gotten this close, the whole gatehouse and everything is full of the fog, pretty much. So, and again, you can see fairly clear, you can clearly see Dodd as long as he doesn't sort of get too far ahead of you.
Okay, so I'm going to sort of follow him along the wall.
Sort of shifts along. Give me an acrobatics check. Or athletics.
11.
So you slide along the wall, and you can feel beneath your feet, you're sort of glad that maybe you didn't send Graven for this, you feel the boards bending a little bit just from the weight, and the two of you aren't even sort of providing a lot of weight. You feel it kind of creak beneath, and he sort of pushes you back so you're even sort of tighter with the wall as he hears the creaking of the floorboards. It's not entirely steady unless you're very close to the wall. And he shuffles along. And you step into, after a little bit of moving along, he leads you until through the fog you can make out the outline of this kind of very large wooden wheel. Kind of looks like a hamster wheel. And there's a number of thick ropes attached to it in a number of spots. And the foundation under the wheel is stone, so clearly this part is held up over time because it wasn't on a wooden base, it's on a stone base. And it looks significantly safer than other portions of the room, so as soon as Dodd kind of carefully reaches a foot over and steps to it, he seems to be sturdy, and he reaches to you and makes sure that you kind of come over here. Now, the operation of the gate is pretty simple. You step inside the wheel, and you begin to walk, and the gate opens. There is a second wheel on the other side of the room that you cannot see because of the fog. I will go to that one, and when you hear me call out, start walking. Now, as I said, normally I do this alone. It's very difficult for one person to get the gate open. It takes a lot of effort. It will be much easier with both of us walking. So stay here and wait. And you see him, again, sort of moving back to the wooden floorboards, scooting along the wall. And you watch him as he sort of in vision and then
gets to the point where he completely disappears from sight.
So I've climbed into this sort of
Yeah, you're sort of
wheel.
on
Yeah,
it.
okay.
And there's a quiet moment there. And you wait. Okay. Start to walk. And it's slow at first. And as you gain some momentum, and you can hear the gears turning, and from the outside you start to see. And it gets all the way open.
Let's go.
Now, and you hear Dodd shouting. Now hold for a moment while we make sure they have time to get through. You sort of stay there, sort of bracing yourself so the wheel doesn't turn back the other way. You guys start to lead the horses through?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. All of the horses.
Give me some animal handling checks.
Oh,
The fog's sort of scaring the horses and not able to sort of see their surroundings too
I'm
well.
handling.
Hey.
Oh my god.
14.
6.
Dirty 20. Not one.
Oh my god.
inspiration.
I'm not using my I'm gonna use it to get my horse through a
Oh,
goddamn
that's
gate.
so mean.
You guys start to pull on the horses and you can feel them resisting a little bit as they see the fog filling this interior chamber with the two gates, sort of kicking back a little bit. You can see Orba sort of struggling to pull. Someone had a natural 20?
Yeah, no, it was dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Safira kind of reaches over and grabs the reins and it sort of helps Orba steady the horses and pull them in. And they sort of very apprehensively kind of slowly tip forward. And as they move onto the gate that had been lowered, you can hear the hooves on the metal sort of clunk, 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 and you hear the horses kind of walking in. And up in the gatehouse. Are your friends good with horses?
Some of them more than others.
We'll give them another moment. You guys are able to...
Yeah, can Orba like try to...
You get them all the way. And at this point now, you guys, now that you're on the interior here of this, the fog has fully encompassed you. It's all around you. No more than 20 feet in any direction that you can really see reliably. You can see the outlines of things. In addition, this portion is, because you're sort of between these two gates, very dark in here as well, in addition to the fog. You guys wait. Okay. I think you could step out of the wheel. Wait for me to come back. And you can hear the sound of him. As soon as he steps out, you can hear the wheel kind of turning back in the other direction.
So I'm going to sort of step out as well.
Step out. You stay on the stone portion that's beneath. And the wheels begin to turn the other way. And behind you guys, you hear the... of the gates behind you.
Ooh. It's a little unsettling.
You hear
That
a
we
little
made
bit.
it through.
And you see dots start to materialize again out of the fog. Hopefully that was enough time. Now go to the second set of wheels. This is much easier with a person to help you. I'm glad you were here. I'm usually sweating quite a bit at this point.
How would you run between the two of them?
No, you can use one to open it. It just takes significantly more effort.
I see.
Now this next part is a bit tricky. The floor with the wheels and the gate mechanisms used to all be one big room. But as you can see, the boards have collapsed in a number of places, dividing it into a couple parts. Getting to the part that we need to get to requires a sort of leap of faith. Going to be jumping into the fog without being able to see the other side. I will do it first, and I'm going to do this. And he takes one of the ropes, ties it around his waist, and he gives you the other end.
Oh,
You will hold this end of the rope.
God.
I'm going to jump because I know exactly where it is. When you jump, hold the rope tight so that if you fall, I can pull you up on the other side.
How long is the jump, roughly?
It's probably about 8 feet.
8 feet. Okay.
God, I was gonna say 80.
Remind me, jumping distance is something like...
So, jumping distance, if you can have a 10-foot runway, is your strength score worth a feat. Which for you is? Score, not modifier.
12.
12 feet. If you can't get a 10-foot running start, which you can't in here, it's too tight, it's half of that.
6.
6.
This is an 8-foot jump.
Yes. So, the option becomes, you obviously have the ability to use Step of the Wind and double your jump distance for a very safe jump, or it's also an acrobatics check. You could theoretically make this jump, it's just not a guaranteed thing, because it's a little past what you're comfortably able to jump.
Okay.
So you wait for a moment, and Dodd kind of stands, and he's got sort of 2 stone pillars between him. This is the spot. He takes a step back, and he doesn't take like a running start, but he does like one big step, and then, and you see him disappear into the fog, and onto the other side. This dude's awesome. And you feel the rope kind of get taut in your hands as he's pulling on it a little bit just to show you where the other side is.
Yeah.
I'm standing right where you need to jump. Go straight forward, and I will be holding on the other side.
All right. I'm going to sort of hold the rope tightly just in case I fall. I'm going to close my eyes, channel the energy inside me, and then use Step of the Wind and jump.
Great.
Yeah.
And you see quickly materializing his dot on the other side, and he sort of catches you on the other side as you crash in. It was a good jump.
The place I trained
He's so
is pretty
impressed with
good.
us.
So I've heard. All right. Now, the second wheels work pretty much the same way, and he leads you along to the first wheel. Get in this one. I'll go to the other side, and I will say when to begin.
Okay.
You get inside. You hear him shuffling across. Disappears into the fog. Okay. And once again, down in where the sort of gates are.
All right.
Opens up. And you can see you can't make out things because the fog is thick, but light starts to pour in a little bit. At least sort of illuminates the space that you're in.
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
Okay, I'll do better this time.
Okay. Animal hand.
Yeah!
Oh my god.
I help you do this.
6.
Dirty 20.
Safira forgets what a horse is.
Well, she's trying to. You've got Dawn's horse, you've got your horse, you're kind of thinking of Orba, so you're a little over-managed there. In the space.
I'm a loser.
12.
17.
Thank
Dirty
you.
20.
Dirty 20. So this time, the rest of the group
This
picks
time
up
I'm
the
the
slack. And you're able to pull the horses through. And once again, the horses trust you pretty well at this point, but the fog is disorienting and they give a little resistance, but you sort of step into a little bit of light. And the fog remains very dense, but it's lighter in color as the sun shines more easily into the ruins than the dense kind of forest around it. You see numerous sort of amorphous grayish outlines in the distance that seem like they're likely buildings, or at least the remains of buildings. But everything outside of kind of a small circle around you, again 20 feet or less, is a guess. I mean, it looks like just outlines, dark splotches, shadows. Beneath your feet, clumps of grass are punching through cracks in what appears to be a well-paved road. At once upon a time, they had paved this road, and it stands pretty well. I mean, it's not perfect, sort of nature taking its toll over time, but it stands as a sort of guide for you to move through the ruins so you don't get too off track. The ground is sturdy and level. Good craftsmanship allowed it to stay intact long after the sort of maintenance had stopped over time. Okay, I think that's good. Hold a moment, and I will come back. You hear him step out, and you can hear his wheel starting to turn back. Are you stepping out of the wheel?
Did he tell me to hold there, or
Just to wait there for him to come back.
Okay,
Yes, step out. And again, you guys behind you hear the closing of the gate behind you. And you hear once again a little shuffling along. Erland, I think we have a problem. I'm going to light the torch. Tell me if you can see the glow, yes?
all right.
And you sort of take it.
Why?
And you see a little ball of sort of a warm, yellowish-orange glow, a little bit distant away from you in the room. Can you make your way to me?
Yes.
I think I might be stuck.
Oh, gosh.
All right. He's still. I'm not like connected to him with the rope anymore.
No. He had taken off.
We jinxed it.
Okay, I'm gonna start making my way over to him.
You kind of feel your way
Yeah.
through the mist, very slowly, very carefully.
Yeah, like along the wall, sort of in the way that I saw him.
Always. And the boards beneath you kind of creak, but they don't give as you move along. And you run your fingers along the walls to kind of make sure that you steady yourself. You make your way towards this orange ball of light, fuzzy and flickering. Almost looking at like a sunrise through very tired, drowsy eyes. And you get closer, and the source of light kind of splits into two. It was kind of one, and it splits into two lights. One a warmer light that's like from a torch, and then one a clearer white. And at this point, you can see that they're coming from two sources, and one of them seems like it might be to the outside, like a window or something, that the second source of light. So it seems like he's standing with a torch very close to a window leading in. The window looks to have sort of an arched top, like the one you pulled yourself through into the gatehouse on the other side. Although if you understand your orientation correctly, this one should be leading down into the ruins and not back out. So you've crossed across, which you assume to be true. The other, again, a small torch held by Dawn. Strands of his dark hair falling in front of his eyes. And he's kind of leaning forward slightly. And you see as you get closer that the ball of light is lower than you expect. And you get closer and it seems like Dodd's either crouched down or sitting on something. And you can hear a little shuffling noise. And he's sitting on what appears to be a 3-legged wooden stool as he sort of comes in out of the fog. And there's another stool about 5 feet in front of him, closer to where you're standing. And with his non-torch hand, he reaches up and he points to the empty stool across from him. And he's holding something in that hand as well that he points with. Something black and spherical, with the inches of fuse sticking out of the top. Please, Erland. Sit for a moment.
So he's holding a bomb. Is it lit?
It is not lit.
I'll sit.
And you hear the wood creak beneath you a little.
How close is he to the window?
So the stools are about 5 feet apart, and then the window is kind of between the middle of you.
So it's
about 2.5-ish, 3 feet from you. Yeah, the window's
Okay, so we're like sitting across from each other,
yes.
and the windows.
And the window's in the middle-ish, off to the right, or your right.
And is he holding a torch, or?
He's holding a torch that he had lit to guide you over to him.
Bomb.
And a bomb. Okay.
Oh, how inviting.
I didn't sleep well last night. I spent the entire time from the elven camp to the ruins wrestling with my own mind. I wish you had never seen my tattoo. And I blame myself for that. One day, perhaps someday very soon, you are going to return to Atonement's End. Or speak with one of the other brothers of the Seven.
While he's talking, can I prepare something a little bit?
What are you doing?
I'm sitting there listening, but if he's 2 feet, if he's 5 feet away from me, if I see the torch move anywhere towards the bomb, I want to try and use my quarterstaff and hit the bomb out of his hand.
Okay.
Is the bomb on the window side, or is the torch?
It's on the window side.
So I want to just, if I see him like make any move to do this, I want to try and step forward and hit the bomb maybe out the window.
Okay. It's not enough, just sitting where you are, it's not within striking distance. You have to take a step forward and strike. So I'm saying you can do that, but it's not as instantaneous as sort of...
Yeah, and I couldn't, I wouldn't be able to... Darts are like in a bag. I wouldn't be able to like quickly do anything like that.
I mean, you could. You're pretty quick. You're pretty adept, but he is also quick. I mean, I'm not...
Yeah.
You know.
I will...
But ready something specific. You can't ready a bunch of things.
Okay,
so.
In that case, what is the floor around us like? Given that is it collapsed at all?
In places, it's like wood in some places. Yeah, you're on mostly wood at this point, although you're close to the wall with the window, so you're on sturdier wood.
Okay, I would think that like hitting him with a quarterstaff attack would be faster than trying to fully tackle him and grab him, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, I would like to try and... Let's try and like hit... I want to, if I see the flame move towards the bomb, I want to try and hit him so that in the arm or something to try and have him drop the bomb.
Okay, sure.
And that's going to be stepping forward, so I have my feet ready here.
Sure. Great.
You're going to return to Atonement's End, or speak with one of the other brothers of the Seven. You will describe the man that you met in the Ackley Grove, and you will come to learn the truth. That I was never granted remission. The rest of the story is true. My field assignments, my work with Lord Puranoy, the torture, my compliance. I did it because I believed what they told me. that once I was in remission, I would leave a positive impact on this world. That doing what you're told up until that point teaches you how to stand on your own. But after everything I did, they still would not give it to me. I ran, and they came for me. They offered immediate and undisputed remission for returning me alive. And just like that, all my friends, the men that I considered family, all those that I trained with, those that I bled with, gone. You would not believe how easy it is to get people to turn on each other when you've hollowed them out inside. I don't want to kill another one of my brothers, Erland.
I'm not going to take you in. Even if I wanted to, which I don't. The people I'm traveling with, the things that I'm running from, would not allow me to bring you back.
I've seen the company you keep. Powerful friends. And I've little doubt that if you came to get me, you would succeed where others have failed. And that is why I cannot let you go.
He's gonna make us kill him.
I'm not going to fight you.
Make a persuasion check.
It wasn't his father.
6.
And even through the fog, you can see some tears running down his face. And he looks up a little bit, and you can see it running down the reflection. I remember a training exercise that they had us do, where we would jump from the second floor living quarters down to the courtyard. They would paint the window frame with a fresh coat of paint. And when you landed at the bottom, if your robe had any paint on it, you'd be lashed for it. A test in dexterity. I was never any good at it. And he looks towards the window. But I hope you were. And he moves the torch towards the bomb. Are you going in for a strike, or are you going for the window?
Can you explain? He's saying that he's giving me the option to jump out the window.
He looked towards the window and said, we used to do this thing where we jump out the window into the courtyard.
Yeah.
And he was like, I hope you're good at it.
And
he went to light the bomb.
Oh, so I want to try and hit the bomb.
Hit the bomb. Give me an attack roll.
Oh gosh.
Come on, dude.
Oh my god. Oh.
If I'm going to use inspiration, do I need to tell you before or after you tell me if it hits or not?
I think you have to tell me before.
I imagine it's just you replace your roll, right? Not like.
This is the worst. I'm so mad at this.
Yes, it just gives you advantage. So you have to, before I say if it hits or not, you would have to use it or not.
Do I know how long the fuse on one of those bombs is?
It looks very short. He's also holding like a big torch. It's not like a little flame, like he's putting the two of them together. Inspiration?
Praise Gosney.
Praise Gosney, he says.
Not much better. 12?
12.
Come on.
You come in for a strike, and Dodd leans back in the chair and he kicks your quarterstaff off to the side.
Jump out the window.
And the bomb explodes. You get pushed off to the side from the kick, and the explosion of the bomb is pouring over you, and you have a moment here to dump out the window with the explosion behind you. You are taking part of the damage from the explosion.
Oh my god.
Give me an acrobatics check as you jump out the window.
Guy.
Acrobatics, 22.
Oh
22. You go out the window, but as you're pouring out the window, the flames kind of come over the back of you. You take 7 fire damage.
Oh my god.
This is like right above us.
It is. You hear this, a giant boom, and chunks of the wall behind you. And in addition, it sounded like you can hear kind of the... It sounded like part of the wheel that you were using to open the gates has begun to collapse, and you can see the gate kind of shuddering from the ropes and things kind of being pulled on through the gatehouse. And you see this flash of light come out, and a shadowed figure coming down from up above. This concussive blast and a trickling of sand and stone kind of bouncing off the street. And the burst of air that comes out from the bomb, it kind of disperses the fog just a little bit. And you see Erland hurtling down towards the ground. This is a 40-foot fall.
Okay.
Now you have slow jump.
I sure do.
You are not close enough to
fall,
catch him.
yes.
Slow fall, yes. So I'm going to roll for damage, and you can tell me if you're reducing it or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
1d6 per 10, so 46.
Wait, am I within 60 feet of Erland?
Yes, but it's into the fog a bit.
Okay.
Are you looking? You're looking to cast Featherfall or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you wish to do so?
Yeah.
What's the range on that?
60 feet.
60 feet. He's not within range of that. Okay. It's 16 bludgeoning. Oh no, 12 bludgeoning damage.
Did I reduce any falling damage by 20?
20. Great. So Erland, and you hit the ground, and your sort of instincts kick in, and you roll across the pavement as pieces of rubble are kind of pouring over you and trickling down.
Oh my god.
And you see Erland hurtle down towards the ground.
What happened?
Erland!
Does it seem like can I look behind me and see anything?
Yes, so the blast blew out the fog, and now the fog is already starting to sort of recongeal, but you can look up for a second. What are you looking for?
Do I see him? Does he seem super
Give
dead?
me a perception check.
Yeah, did he die?
Yeah.
Perception 19.
19. You see just a flash of a moving figure. It does not look like he died.
Which direction was he moving?
Sort of west. He did not look like he came out the window. He looks like he sort of retreated almost back into the gatehouse.
Did we get a look at?
Where's Dodd,
That's what we're
Erland?
looking at.
What happened?
So did he throw it? Based on what I'm seeing, did it seem like he threw the bomb, or
Maybe a little bit. I mean, I think he was very much realizing that he would take a decent, that he would get hurt in this explosion. That didn't seem to faze him. But you see a little bit of movement of a head, and then it disappears up there.
Dodd, give me a second. Dodd attacked me. Give me a second. Give me a second.
I'm looking. Can I kind of look? I want with my bow out. I'm looking for him.
I'm gonna bring his horse.
nothing there to fire at.
I'm gonna bring the horse over to Erland. Like, do we need to go now?
There's no way out, is there?
We don't know the way out.
Through the ruins that we don't
The
know how
gates
to
are
get
closed.
We got through the 2 gates.
Yes.
Run. No. Does it seem like, how much did it blow up? Like, if I had my climbing kit, could I climb back up conceivably? Or?
A good chunk of the wall has been deteriorated. Possibly, it looks like very precarious. That if you started to grab, that it might sort of come off in chunks. And again, the floorboards up there were already pretty busted up, so possibly.
Okay. All right.
Erland, where is he? We don't
I don't know.
how to get through here without him.
I don't know.
Why did he attack you?
Do we need to run?
No, we don't need to run. He's not looking for a fight with all of us. He knows he can't win with all of us.
Is he looking for a fight with you?
Potentially.
Why?
Not right now.
We proceed.
What are we doing?
We proceed through the ruins.
Okay.
We proceed through the ruins.
Stay together.
He
Everyone
won't
stay
attack
close together.
us all, but stay close together. I don't know if he's looking to pick us off individually. He might be trying to pick us off
Well,
individually.
if he is, then he'll have a. And I'm trying to shout. He'll have a good fight. And I'm like with my bow out. Like Safira's like.
The fog has sort of congealed at this point to the point where now it's returned to. You can't see clearly more than 15, 20 feet.
Stay close.
He's wanted.
everyone.
There's a hefty bounty on his head.
Good. Let's get it then.
Safira, quiet. We don't know what's
Stop it.
around here.
No, he might be running. That may have been his attempt to scare us. I don't know. He might be running. I showed no desire to capture him. I showed no desire. I tried to save him. I tried to save us.
And he tried to kill you?
I don't know if he was trying to scare me or kill me or pick us off individually, but he knows if he fights all of us, we will win. So stick together.
Did you know there was a bounty on his head?
No, I did not.
Well, now that we know there is, then maybe at least...
No, Safira.
What do you mean? He just pushed you out of a window with a bomb.
No, we're not.
Look, I'm not interested in... fine.
We're leaving this.
Then let's go.
We're staying together. Stick together. He can't take us all at once if he wants to. And we don't... I'm going to say this loudly. And we don't want a fight.
He's speaking for himself, by the way.
Shut up, Safira.
Enough yelling. Whether he was lying about the animals or not, I don't know, but there could be things more than him listening to us right now. Let's get our things together and go. We have his horse. Let's just go.
When I was inside the area, did it seem like other than that sort of window down, there was another route down to the ruins? Or not that you saw
You were very briefly in there before with the fog.
If there was, and he wouldn't.
Okay.
Can I
I'll take his horse. Let's go.
It doesn't take long for the fog to reform after the detonation had dispersed it somewhat. And it doesn't take long after that to feel the full weight of the situation sinking in. What was mostly silent aside from the bristling of the horses as you led them into the uneasy atmosphere has now given way to a number of ambiguous, agitated noises. Scratching, hissing, groaning. Little footsteps, hooves, snorts, flapping of wings overhead. None of them sounding particularly close at the moment, but you can be sure that the blast has brought the ruin to life, as well as some of the shouting. Curious creatures moving toward it to see what the fuss is about, while perhaps others skitter away, frightened and apprehensive. Assuming you entered from the south gate, which was Dodd's implication when you arrived, the road looks like it either heads north or east, this sort of paved road that you're on. And while not traveling along the paved path seems possible, it would be difficult to take the horses on such a course. These sort of buildings are tightly packed together in a way that it would be difficult to sort of lead the horses in between them, sort of a large group of horses.
Can I speak very quietly?
Yes,
to the group? If we see him, if he's following us, keep him alive. Knock him out. Do not kill him.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
I know that not all of you can do that. Keep him alive, please. It is imperative to our safety going forward that he stays alive.
That doesn't make much sense to
It
me,
doesn't
but
make
all
any
right.
sense.
We can knock him out, but he can't die. Goliath, do you have any capacity to heal at all right now?
Yes.
Would you mind? I have a healing potion, but I suppose I'd rather save that for an emergency. Over to Graven.
I'm gonna, bring him in real close.
Oh my god.
And I kiss
Where does that hurt? It's gonna be okay.
It's hurting, but
Here.
Eskimo kisses.
Here.
Yeah. And I'm gonna lean in and real quietly not as much of a brother as you thought, was he?
He's desperate. Desperate men don't behave rationally.
You should tell them.
Hmm?
You should tell them.
What would that do?
You've got an hour.
What are you casting?
Cure wounds, first level.
Hold
person.
Casting Guiding Bolt. See ya.
I will finish what he started.
A D8 plus my spell casting.
Jesus.
7.
Ooh, that's excellent, friend. Thank you.
Killing it.
Looking at friends.
You see the outlines of a dense neighborhood of homes. Stone walls, no more than 1 or 2 stories. They have these kind of flat wooden roofs that overhang on one side. It's once again giving you the impression of more of a ghost town than a true ruin. It's clear that the buildings are dilapidated, sort of giving in to the slow decay of time. But they're not truly destroyed as much as they are neglected, likely the result of this kind of evacuation, fearing the awesome power of the Tempests. But you're surprised by how much of it looks like it's intact. I mean, again, crumbling from neglect rather than destruction. Sort of heal, group standing.
As I come off from Graven, I'm gonna sort of take my healing node.
Okay.
And use another jolt.
Okay.
Not good, no.
Your girl?
My girdle.
Your girdle.
So you said there's a path straight north and there's a path east.
Yeah, so the paved road that you can see beneath your feet pretty much goes forward north or off to the right, that east.
The idea being that if we went east, we would get to the border.
Yes, I mean, assuming that the implication was that the whole ruin is still inside of Isi, so you'd be looking for like a gate out from the east, or you're looking for another gate out of the ruins, or some way out of the ruins.
Well, we don't know how long these ruins stretch.
No.
Going north seems like we would go along the complete length of them. If we go east, maybe we will get
I mean, we want to try
out
to
of it.
We want to try to get to the east.
the border. If we can.
See how far it takes us. If we come up against something like this gate that we don't know how to open, we reassess.
We can at least, if we come up to the walls, we can at least follow the walls along, rather than traveling through the middle.
We'll see. What about you, right?
Yes, I'm fine.
All right, east.
Okay.
You start to move. Are you riding a horseback? Are you leading the horses? What is your
I mean, we
preference
can
here?
see, 20 feet in front of us?
Yep.
I think we should lead the horses
Perhaps
I would-
walking.
Oh, okay.
as quietly as possible, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, quietly and...
I mean, the horse hooves make a decent clop on the stone paved, but if you lead them sort of at a meandering walking pace, it's not super loud. But you guys start to move. You've barely taken more than a few steps when you see a bit of light piercing through the fog. There's a concentrated beam of light coming from up high that touches Graven just below the neckline. You don't feel anything from it. Nothing at the point of contact. No warmth, no energy. And the angle is something that's definitely coming from above you, but it isn't so extreme that it looks to be coming like down from the sky. It dances a bit across your chest, occasionally flashing across your face, sort of getting in your eyes and blink it off.
Do I see this? Is that great?
Yeah, it's like because it's cutting through the fog. It looks like almost like a rod of light that's sort of coming in from the distance. You can't see the source of it.
And can I hop in front? Can I step in front of Graven as much as possible
Sure.
and try and take up as much room?
Yes, you step in front of him, and the light now is sort of over your chest
Okay.
as you're standing in front of him. Yeah.
Well, where's that coming from?
Can I see anything from where the light is coming?
It definitely seems to be significantly further than the 20 or so feet you can see in front of you, but coming kind of up.
Should we
coming
walk
upward.
towards it?
I'm gonna try and keep the light on me if possible.
You start to move.
As in, if it gets higher up, I'm gonna try and put a hand up and try and.
But you're sort of moving forward. a little
Yeah.
bit.
Erland, do you know what this is?
No.
No, but
if
it
he
just
fires a
sounds
bolt
like-
at you, I want to be able to catch it rather than hit you.
Okay.
A bolt of light.
You think this is
No,
Dodd that's
I'm-
causing this light?
If he has some sort of mechanism for lighting it, he has a crossbow, bow and arrow?
He's a boner.
If he has a bow and arrow and he's lighting it magically somehow, I am adept at striking them away or catching them.
It should be... Okay.
And since the sort of beam of light appears, maybe 20-ish seconds pass. And then you hear a series of almost pops or clicks. And something comes in quick, something fast. That is a 24 to hit.
24 hits.
On Erland.
What in the living... Why? Why? Why do we have such terrible... Why?
Like, it's dark.
I rate this a Y out of 10.
We're definitely getting to the Vigapores now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You take
Definitely.
8 piercing damage.
Oh my god.
What kind of
It
weapon
is
is it?
not a projectile. A concentrated rod of ice comes flying in
Rod of ice.
and crashes into your chest at a frightening speed. And Orba, you recognize it as the effects of an ice knife spell.
So it's 8, sorry, man.
Right.
8 cold, 8 piercing damage. And Graven, because you were right next to him, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as well as Erland.
Dirty 20 on the dex save.
13.
Erland, you take 3 cold
my
damage.
God.
Graven, you take 6 cold damage.
But half, because I'm resistant to cold.
Yes, it is cold damage. Yes.
13 was a fail. Okay.
Yes.
And not only that, the impact of it, not only is there an explosion of ice, you get knocked back from, and you fall prone from the sort of force of this bolt coming through. And Erland gets knocked down. You see the pieces of ice kind of go flying, and Graven covers his face a little bit. And at that point, you hear a little bit of some familiar sounds of possibly lizard folk among the ruins. None of them popping their head out just yet. Another couple seconds pass. And a beam of light appears again, once on Graven this time.
Do I... sorry, remind me, what's the rule for being prone for range attacks? Is that
They
disadvantage?
have disadvantage on prone targets.
Okay. I guess Orba's gonna shout, spread out and everybody down!
Down! And I'm kind of like
Right.
want to push Graven to the ground as I get down.
There's also like buildings and things like houses that you
Oh, yeah,
get
you can
up
take cover.
behind. All right, is everyone just hitting the deck?
Yeah.
No, yeah, the horses.
Yes.
Yes. Go try to take the horse and kind of get to the side of a building.
Great, to the side of the building. And you can see the light follows you as you move across, and then when you get under the lip of one of these houses, you can see it stop, and it no longer is like connected to you from wherever the source is. And you're all kind of down and looking around for the target. I need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh my god.
Can I say something before we?
Yes.
I was just going to say, am I near enough to Graven to say something to him?
Yes.
I may need another heal, Goliath.
I'll quickly heal him.
You're rolling initiative,
we've
dude, that's your
started.
turn.
Fuck me.
Also, Matt, has this been 8 hours since the last lizard folk?
No.
Oh, great, so I still have mage armor then.
Great.
8 hours?
Hell
The
yeah,
last
baby.
8 hours? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm solid as a rock.
I'm not doing well already.
Yep.
Okay, BZ.
For the record, if that was a projectile, I would have taken
19.
it down to 0 and been able to
19?
catch it.
Nice.
Catch the ice.
Erland.
9.
Safira.
Dirty 20.
Nice. Graven.
5.
That's spicy.
Yeah. Guys, I am not.
To the east.
I've used a lot of spells.
Yep, me too.
My jacket is done.
You're short rested though.
I have to
Oh,
long
that's
rest.
long rest.
After using the...
Mine's the same.
You have
my
some
animus
stuff that's
though,
short
is
rest
like-
though, or is that your old stuff?
No, that's your old stuff.
No, my action
Surge.
surge.
Yeah, you did it.
Action.
And surge.
Surge.
My goodness.
The AS.
Don't worry, guys. Your wizard has a 14 AC. We're good. I'll be fine.
Fucking guide.
I love it. That's as much as you
I
can like,
mean,
beef yourself up to.
He doesn't
It's like
hate all
14.
of us.
It's true.
Yeah.
So the ruins are kind of unfolding in front of you as you're moving down the path. So Erland and Graven, who are kind of up in the front, are kind of up here, and you guys had gone off to the side where you are under the sort of general cover of one of these.
BZ, you and me are tied, so if you want to go first or second.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that.
We'll say the horses are around. So there's all these sort of flat roofed houses that you guys are kind of ducking behind. Orba.
Sucks. It's hard to say.
All kind of gather around. So the beam, and we can bring that baby up. The beam was coming down from this direction. So when you guys were kind of more out in the road, it was able to see you. So now that you've gotten close to the edges of these sort of dilapidated homes, it had been like blocked. The sort of beam not able to target you.
Can you say from which direction one more time? Sorry, I was
from the red-green direction is where that beam of light was
Got it.
coming from. So
Okay.
down. So it's like looking. So when you guys were on the path there, if you look up on the monitor, it was able to kind of target you because you were along there.
And we were moving in the blue
You were moving,
direction.
you were
moving
moving in the
green.
green. So this was where you came in. That's the gate, the opening where the gate was.
I see.
So you guys headed east, which is in the green direction.
5 feet.
Am I putting any initiatives for you, Matt?
You are.
When it comes to like trying
No,
to
we're
attack
fighting
somebody,
ourselves.
even if we have no idea where they are, can we just make an attack?
You
with
can make a
disadvantage?
guess with disadvantage. Yes. You have to have
An idea.
some idea.
Right.
I
The
swing.
direction
The beam of light. Yes.
beam
The
of
light.
light.
Yes.
And
But.
are we? Is everything is just sort of this area stone? Is this area truly grass?
It's like a grassy stone. It looks like it was people's property. So yeah, the flattest, like pure stone is the path.
Yeah. Would it be? Is it enough connection to the earth that would be?
Yes.
Okay. Just the grassy areas or everything?
Just the grassy, not the path
I see.
that is made of stone. And okay. Lizard folk is 12.
Well, we can get some good attacks in first.
Lizard folk shaman is 7.
17, sorry?
7.
7.
And the lizard folk sharpshooter is 11.
Oh.
Oh, glad we've added a sharpshooter to the bunch.
Sharpshooter. Soul
He did
shelter,
say-
sharpshooter.
He also sharpshooter is singular.
Well, so far you're only seeing one beam of light, so yes, true.
He thought you were getting away with that.
So you guys all kind of hit the deck, backs up against the side of this building, and you see the light. It looks like it's searching. You can see this beam of light kind of sweeping along the street, back and forth. So far you don't see any creatures, but you can hear some of that slithering. And as people who've been on this continent, they speak Draconic, which like Dragonborn do and stuff. So you can hear, you can't understand it, but you can hear a little bit of like communication between them, whispers among the ruins here.
I'm equipped like an idiot.
Okay.
Comprehend languages.
Safira, what are you doing?
Okay, I'm going to look at, I guess, I don't see any of them nearby around me.
Make me a perception check.
14.
14. You are able to see just one regular lizard folk who looks like he's creeping out from between these two houses. He looks like he was behind here and he came creeping out.
I've used all my spell slots.
Yeah,
Then I guess I'm gonna just look at where the beam of light is now and try to like train my arrow from where I think it might be coming from, and
Okay.
I'm just gonna try to shoot.
Give me an attack with disadvantage. So Safira kind of steps out into the street, looks for the beam, fires one off in the distance. Disadvantage.
Come on, baby.
It's a natural one.
Natural one. You kind of listen to hear any kind
Shot
of
the guy I
feedback,
can see.
and the light is kind of moving across, and you hear the arrow kind of, and the light doesn't kind of move or flicker as if it had been struck by anything.
Yeah. Okay, that's it.
So do you step kind of back up? to the-
Yeah, I definitely want to
Okay.
hide again, but yeah.
BZ, or do you have a
You can go first.
Okay, so I guess as Orba's like clinging to the wall since she didn't really get a chance, she's gonna shout. The projectile, if it hits one person, it also explodes onto whoever's next to it. Just stay away from it. 60 feet away. Whoa!
Oh, it's taking tax.
He's as close as 60 feet. That's it. Okay, I guess, can I take a look around and see if I can locate
Give me a
anybody else?
perception check.
Come on, baby. 8?
8. You don't see anyone else yet.
Alright, Orba's just gonna go for what she knows. She's gonna go for that lizard folk.
Great. Steps out.
And I think
Regrets.
I am gonna cast Maximilian's Earthen Grasp next to it.
Okay.
A block, like, right in front of it, so if it's trying to get through, it's gotta go through that little
Try to count.
Oh no! He can't count. He can't play.
It's hard to
This is
see
it.
how
This
far
is
away
the map
from
is not going to work for him. He can't count.
Where are you? I can move something.
Can you, if you just move this thing, I'll be able to see here. Okay, great, thank you.
So Matt, whenever
So
you
hand of yours. Yep.
make a strength saving throw.
Then so it's says
Please.
strength saving throw. 12.
Fails. So he is restrained, and he takes 2d6 bludgeoning. Or, yeah, 2d6.
There we go.
A hand appears and grabs onto the lizard folk who isn't able to wriggle out of the way.
Come on.
8 damage.
There we go.
8. Yeah, bludgeoning damage.
Okay. Grasp. You can see him kind of writhing as it grabs him.
That's my where am I?
Do you need me to move? To move this? You are
Yeah,
right
you're
there.
right.
Yeah, that seems okay for now.
Okay.
Nestled right between the two ladies. Okay, or Beezaura.
Alright, give me a perception check first.
I was just gonna say.
I guess I can put my notes away.
Ooh. 7.
7. Not able to see anybody else. You know, you could see Orba sort of move toward that creature, so you're aware that someone's over there at the end of the path.
How far is he from me?
We'll see there. 5, 10,
need a
15,
drone.
20, 25, 30, 35 feet.
Ooh. I will just wait.
Okay. Or you can ready something.
I'll ready my flail if he moves up.
Okay, great.
Okay. It's the lizard
I
folk.
guess I know.
The lizard folk. Great. He has to make what kind of... He can try to break free of it? Is that-
Yeah, I think you need to make another strength save.
Okay. Strength save?
Strength check, sorry.
Check, yeah. 10.
Fails.
Okay. He wriggles, and the hand grasps him even tighter. And you see... Bitch! A few more emerging. They appear, these ones that you see, all to be regular lizard folk so far. Yeah.
Oh no!
There.
Fuck!
Give me your attack that you've hold.
Oh, there we go.
And another one right next to it.
Yikes.
That one, rolling again.
For those who can't see playing at home, there's one, there's
Relax.
two right
Okay, fine. I'm relaxed.
23.
23 hits. Roll for damage.
Relaxed.
Chill, man. Chill, bro. 8 damage.
8 damage, great.
Nice.
As he comes up to you, you can see him already kind of readying an attack, but as you come in, you swing the flail, hit him across the side. Do you need to see something, or are you looking...
I'm peering. I'm
Okay.
anxiously peering.
The two of them run up to you, and one of them looks like it's pulling out a weapon, and you get ready for, like, sort of to defend yourself against an attack, and he pulls out what looks like a net, and he
What the?
throws it, and it has these little weights on the end of it. I need you to make a strength save.
Oh my god.
Strength saving throw?
Yep.
$17.
17. As he throws it, you use your shield to knock one of the weights away, and it kind of, the net goes down to the side. The other one takes out a net, throws another one. Strength saving.
This would be really bad. If somebody gets caught.
Yeah.
Wow. 14.
14. As you knock the first one away, you look and wrapped up by the second one. And he reaches in after you've been wrapped up, and he starts to pull you.
Oh my god.
And he pulls you. And as you start to move here, you can start to see a little more of the ruin opening up as he pulls you between these buildings here.
Oh.
Do I get an
my
opportunity
God.
attack, or was he next to me?
He was not next to you.
Just gonna throw that out there.
Okay.
Netted.
You are restrained.
Oh, puppy.
Just get so netted, bro. Oh.
And to get out of the restraint, that's
nope,
the
nope,
action,
You
right?
have to use an action to try and break free. Yes.
God damn it. Oh.
You see a little bit more of the ruin opening up.
Jesus. Huh?
This is very cool.
And he pulls you through here.
Is it or is it terrible?
Yeah.
So he pulls you a little bit, just kind of down this path through the gap there. For those who can't see it on the thing, he's pulling him through there.
Where's Graven?
I'm kind of next to you.
Where's my... Oh, you fell over.
So as you're getting pulled, you're kind of looking around as best you can. You see a little bit of the buildings kind of moving by. Give me a perception check again, as now you're being moved through the room a little bit.
18.
18.
That's it.
As you're moving through, you can see the light that's kind of searching across the path. And you see
I see?
This is wild.
What do I see? Where are they taking me?
Terrifying.
There's a kind of tall tower
Ah.
on that end, and it looks like there's something up here. You can't see what it is, but the light seems to be coming from the rooftop up there. Something up on the top of that roof.
Interesting. Can I yell?
Yes. And Orba and who's that? Safira, give me perception checks.
Oh my god.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. What do you want to yell?
Okay.
Something very quickly. A couple
Yeah,
words.
as I'm getting pushed, there's a tower! Just beware, there's a tower behind us!
Okay, that's it. Okay, what's next?
The sharpshooter.
A sharpshooter.
The soul shelter.
You see the light moving across, and the beam gets a little brighter. Isn't able to find a target at this time. Who's next?
Erland.
Erland.
Okay, so there's
Where do
a
you need me
guy.
to move to?
There's a guy right there.
There's a
as
guy
well.
right here. Yep, we're
Yeah, right
almost
behind
next
that
to
wall.
Orba. Right there. Yep.
Okay. All right. Cool. I am going to. First things first. Sort of hiding behind the wall. I'm going to put my hand down on the ground.
Oh, also, Graven wasn't prone. Erland was.
There you go.
Yep. Go ahead.
So first things first. While I'm prone there, I'm going to sort of put my hand to the ground, grab
Okay.
like a tuft of grass, and use rejuvenate.
Okay, great.
So the stone kind of like cracks around a little bit.
And you reach into the soil and you kind of pull it up.
All right,
the
so
energy
mark-
up through.
Let me mark one round of that. And I'll do my heal of 2. All right. Okay. Oh, I gotta do my. I'm so rattled right now. I need to do my Constitution save. Oh, son of a bitch! I failed. So that's a 2.
What is the command in chat? Command
Yeah, someone-
homebrew?
I'm using my septic powers. I used rejuvenate.
Right.
I healed 2. I failed my Constitution save.
Septic.
Sepsis powers. Septic powers? Septic powers.
Septic is the adjective, sepsis is the noun.
So getting up is half my movement? Or
Yes,
is
it's
it?
half your movement.
Just about to say
Okay,
that.
so I'm going to get up.
Right.
Garbage.
And I believe I'm
that the new
within
emote?
20
It's
feet
just
of that guy. Right
You are.
there.
5, 10, yep.
I'm within 10 feet of him? So I'm gonna-
15, sorry.
15, okay, great. So I'm going to get up and I'm
Awesome.
going to...
5, 10, 15.
That's a bonus action. Great. So, yeah, two-handed quarterstaff
Great.
attack on that guy.
Is it the same one that Beezaura had?
Same one that
Yeah.
Bazaar hit. Yep.
21 to hit.
That hits. Roll for damage.
Fuck him up.
10 bludgeoning damage.
And bludgeoning damage. Excellent. So as he's kind of, it looks like he's reaching down to kind of pick up the net that Bazaar knocked aside. And as he's reaching down, you come flying in and sort of hit him against the side. He sort of holds his hands up a little bit. Not dead, but you gave him a good wall.
Okay, cool. And based on the trajectory of the light, I'm good there. He can't see me.
As far as you can tell, yes. You see the light kind of make another pass, and it's broken up by some of the rooftops.
Do I see any other guys around now that I'm moving around a little bit?
In that spot, no, because you're kind of between a number of the houses there.
Okay, cool. And this was the gate where we came from, right
Yep,
here?
That's where you came from. Yeah.
Great.
There's horses that have scattered. We
Sure,
won't put
sure,
them on for now for the sake of ease.
There
There does not seem to, they're reasonably intelligent creatures, like they're not animals, so they're clearly going for what they know to be threats. They don't seem to think that the horses are threats at the moment.
All right, that's my turn.
Okay, who's next?
Yeah, the shaman.
Shaman. You hear a little bit of up above you
Oh,
Sucks so much.
Oh my god.
and up on the rooftops.
Click, click, click.
I was just thinking that.
2 of those?
Rooftops, click, click, click.
This is not Saint Nick though.
That one, I need Erland to make a Constitution saving throw.
I'm so bad at
Oh,
this.
yeah, you're not good at those.
No, you're not. Oh, he's
Ooh.
really exceptionally bad today.
4.
Yeah.
4. You watch as Erland's not seeing this because he's gonna hit the creature, but Graven sees the shaman emerge on the
God,
rooftop,
this is
and you
stressful.
see him with a spellcasting focus kind of reach out with his hand, and he starts to lift. And Erland begins to float up in the air.
Oh my
You just got levitated.
Levitated up in the
He's gonna be
air.
a great target for that ice knife.
Oh, wow. They're
Depends on how high is levitate?
20 feet.
20
and then
feet
he
per
can-
round.
Yep, and then he can-
They are thinking, these guys. They don't mess around. Oh, you got mellowed.
I hate these guys so
10
much.
feet per mallow.
I have no spells.
Mellowed.
So I'm still hidden behind that thing?
No,
You are
but, like,
I'm not?
Head is sticking up because you are the.
What if I duck?
What if I?
You're more than 5 feet tall.
Dunking is not.
So give me a perception
gravitational
check as you start to float up in the air.
Which one is?
Natural 20.
Natural
What a
20.
dumb, terrible time to roll that in the whole
Well,
time.
you see, on top of this roof,
I see the guys who are going to hit me.
there seems to be this kind of. There's a metal arm, and then hanging off of it, almost like a gong or something, is this piece of glass or crystal, and it looks like the creature is sort of focusing its energy into the crystal, which is allowing it to send this accentuated target.
It's really cool, though.
And there's another creature that seems to be there to defend him up on the top of that roof.
So there's a crystal that he's not holding?
Yes, it's hanging. There's like a little piece
Okay.
of the crystal hanging, and he's like focusing his magical energy into it, and that's what's creating the beam of light.
Got it.
And as Erland's sort of limbs flailing, you see the beam of light.
Are there any vines on that building that I'm
There are
near?
no vines. You are close enough to it to attempt to pull.
I was hoping to keep
yourself.
Rejuvenate going by grabbing on.
They're not there.
Isn't it by the end of your next
Yeah.
round?
If I lose contact with the
lose
earth,
contact.
I lose it.
Yes.
Well,
Sucks.
yikes.
And I also need to add. Oh my god. There is a 4. Is the another one of those which you've already seen? Scale shields. Those are called scale shields. That is the one guarding the creature up there. Help here.
I don't know.
And he has this kind of crystal that he's focusing his energy through up here. On top
Which
of
was the one that cast on Erland?
this one. And the other one has not
There
gone
you
yet.
go, Safira.
Yep, that's the one. Because you saw your back was against the house Graven, and you saw him kind of come up over the top.
I have to move everything.
This one kind of comes over, and it's going to peek over the side. Safira, give me a Constitution saving.
Oh no!
16.
16. Let's see. Great. Again, the hand comes out, and you watch it shake a little bit as it tries to lift, and Safira kind of focuses herself, and she holds onto the wall behind her, pulls herself closer, and you feel your feet kind of lifting up a little bit, but then you pull yourself back down to the ground. You resist the effects of the levitate.
Good.
That's their turn.
Who was that? The shaman?
That was
Graven.
the shaman's. Graven.
Oh my god. Alright,
Thing is full up.
Focusing some energy into a fiery ball, I'm gonna kind of lift a flaming sphere above my head and try to fling it at the one that
shot.
is levitating Erland.
Okay.
It's focusing on Erland.
Okay.
I can. It says I can
that.
only move it 30 feet, but it's a range of 60 feet. So I
Yeah.
could have made it like 30 feet above me and then have him hit.
Yes.
Okay. So, there's no. That just automatically happens.
So you're making it here, and then you're ramming it into the target.
and then ramming it into him, and trying to kind of make it so that it stops right about there.
Okay. You watch as Graven and throws this flaming ball, and you watch it through the fog. The light kind of smash into the shaman.
So it makes a dex save.
Natural 20.
Oh my god!
He takes half.
Still takes
Yeah, he takes half.
Okay.
And because it's
Concentration.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. This one's cocked.
Oh,
God.
yeah.
7. So he takes what? 3.
so that was total 7 fire
Yeah.
damage. Okay, so 3 fire damage. He's gonna make a concentration.
Come on, baby. Come on.
Very close to 2.
6.
Hell yeah.
So he, as his hand is kind of out, he gets knocked in with the barrel, and his fingers kind of tighten from the pain, and Erland comes down.
Is it a slow fall? or-
It is.
Yeah,
yes, you drift
feel
down
that
to the
spell
ground.
slot go away, baby.
You were demallowed.
All right.
Bitch.
From there, I'm gonna try to. Can I run over to the guy that's
Most of the action
dragging?
is happening here, folks.
Can I kind of run over to where they're dragging Beezaura off?
It is. You can run through Erland's space. They will get an opportunity attack.
How many?
Just the one there.
That's fine.
Okay.
I guess the other question is, now that I've left my flaming sphere that far away, can I move it 30 feet, no matter how
As long as
far
it's
away I
within
am?
6. No, as long as it's within. As soon as it's out of the range, I think it's no longer.
Okay. Ugh, is she 60 feet away from...
Let's see.
I'm gonna drown with the fissures in a second.
I'm nervous.
It's also concentration, so...
Yep.
I also,
Just
if
trying
I
to
get
make
hit, I might
sure-
lose it, but... Within range and lasts...
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if it dispels if you leave the range. It can be moved outside the original range. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter how far away I get
Yes.
from it, but I could lose concentration.
Yes.
Alright, so I am going to run over... I can't really see what it looks like over there. Can I get
It's
to...
kind of a narrow.
Can I just get to where if he goes to move again, I'll have an
Yes,
opportunity
you can.
of attack on me?
5, 10, I'll move this. 15, 20 feet. So you're kind of next to Beezaura, who's being dragged by the net there.
And within 5 of him.
And you are within 5
Okay.
of him, yes.
And-
This is a attack roll on you of an
Yep.
opportunity. 19 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. I rolled that very quickly. Did you want to use...
No.
Okay.
I was thinking...
Sorry, I rolled that too
That's okay.
fast before asking you. Okay. And he has kind of a sword. You take 4 slashing damage. As each
And for my concentration, do I have to make a roll?
Yep, you have to roll 10 or better.
10 or better. I took 4 damage, and I'm going to roll so good right now. Yes, above 10.
Right.
Concentration,
What
or
Constitution
Constitution save 14.
Right. Yeah. So you maintain, even though you take a hit, the flaming ball continues to roll around on the rooftop there.
Okay, that's it for me.
Okay.
Shield.
Yes, the
The
shield.
shield. All you see is him sort of with his shield getting nice and close to the other creature. He seems to be defending him, sort of holding his
As in
shield.
like a partial cover kind of way, or?
It looks like a ranged attack. He would be partially covered, yes.
Okay.
The sharpshooter would be.
Okay.
Not the scale shooter.
Not from Sacred Flame.
There you go.
Top of the
Back to the
order.
top.
Top, it's Safira.
Can I see the sharpshooter now?
If
From
you,
where
I'll
I
say
am?
if you step, you can't really. If you step this way like a step, that's where the side of the street that Erland kind of got hit on originally.
Okay.
So yes, from here you can
From
see.
here
the
I can see
sharpshooter.
him? Okay, then I'm gonna shoot at him.
Okay.
Okay. 25 to hit.
5 to hit. That hits.
Hate that you had to check that shit, man. Were you shooting
That
his
was-
shield?
What the fuck? I'm
was
sorry,
mad.
25 was about to not hit.
He has a shield guy in front of him.
What the fuck?
I
Okay.
guess he has
Oh,
his,
yeah.
he has his own
I guess.
He has his own Beezaura.
Yeah.
plus a shield.
He's
Yeah.
under basically 3/4
Where's the
cover
D8?
currently.
Is this a 3D8 cover?
No, that's a D10. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's so sad. 6, and he's not injured.
6. No, he's not.
Is he injured? Did he trip and fall on the way here?
Loose the arrow, and you see the beam of light just rattle a little bit as you can tell that your arrow found its mark. And then you
Okay.
see once again the creatures kind of huddling together to defend the sharpshooter.
Alright, I don't think I want to move anywhere, so.
Okay.
I'm underneath, I'm still like under the ledge, right? Where I am?
You are, if you move
Am I
back to where you
exposed?
were, yeah, because you were able to hit him from there, so he can definitely hit you from there.
Yeah, I'm gonna move back to where I'm not exposed then. I want to move under the ledge.
Ruins. You don't want us exposing ourselves.
No, for sure no.
Fear ducks back under the lip
Yeah.
of the roof there. Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Can I go first?
Absolutely.
Is there a way for me to get eyes? Is that guy dragging Beezaura?
Yes.
I'm gonna try to get eyes on him. I can't quite see where I am, but
Yeah, there is down that alleyway. There's a lot of people there,
okay.
but yes.
Gang's all here.
All right. So Orba's like concentrating really hard on this Maximilian's Earthen Grasp on this one lizard folk, and she sees Beezaura get netted, and she's gonna like turn 180 and cast, let's say, Chill Touch at the guy holding her.
Okay.
So I have to hit.
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
Not a saving.
Correct. That's a 18 to hit.
18 hits.
Great. So he takes 1d8 and can't regain. 8.
8
That's
damage.
all.
Great.
Nice.
You see the chill touch hit him, and he kind of shudders a little bit, pulls the net a little tighter.
So she then brings her attention back to the hand and just keeps it steady.
Can you can't squeeze it as a bonus action anymore once you've cast it?
No, it's
Okay.
only an action. It's
Okay.
only an action to do anything. I know it's.
But he is
theoretically
restrained
possible.
still. Okay.
Cool. It's now Beezaura.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it out.
Okay. Give me a strength, just a strength check.
Strength.
Yep. Just this big strength number.
The big
Yep.
one. Okay, just want to make sure. 19.
19. You see Beezaura kind of kick and wriggle herself free, and she throws the net free off to the side. Anything else? That was an action.
Where am I? I'm in like the middle
Yes.
of
If you look up at the
in
screen,
the whole shebang.
you are there on the other side of Graven there. Yeah.
I am going to... And that guy's right next to me, right?
He is right next to you, yep.
I'm going to action surge and try to hit him.
Great. And an attack roll.
21.
21 hits. Roll for damage.
Pick these guys off.
7.
7 damage. Great. So after she flings herself free, smacks him with the flail, and kind of gets pushed back a little bit by the force of it.
Very badass that you can do
I'll
that.
just stand there.
Okay.
The sharpshooter.
Action.
Who's next?
It is the lizard folk.
Lizard folk. Great. So that one reaches down, grabs his net. Just gonna throw it at you again. Give me a strength saving throw.
Come on, Beezy.
Strength saving.
22.
22.
Yeah.
Anticipating the net coming up, he goes down to reach and grab it, and you like step on it with one foot and tries to kind of pull at it, but isn't able to do so.
Yes.
You see this building here, this one here, there's like a little doorway that once had a door, and it's kind of broken. You see another lizard folk come out.
Oh my god, how many of them are there?
You don't want to see
I don't know.
He has another net.
I'm like,
Give me another
I don't
strength
know.
saving throw. 13.
Oh
And
my
pulls.
God.
Oh!
Graven, give me an attack of opportunity.
Dirty 20.
That hits. Roll for damage.
3 bludgeoning.
3 bludgeoning damage. Graven just manages to kind of nick him as he goes by, and he pulls the net through the doorway into this building. Put you inside the building.
Oh my god.
Get me out of here!
Oh, she doesn't want to fit in the building.
Someone's stuck.
I'm resisting.
Stuck on the building.
Pulls her into the building, and Graven sort of nicks, but he's sort of distracted by the one lizard folk, and he moves his attention, and he sees Beezaura like disappear into the building through the doorway there, and that's where we're gonna pick up.
Oh my god!
With Beezaura taken
Oh my god!
and combat in full swing. Let's make sure we mark where we are on the initiative tracker
Oh
here.
my god.
The noise throughout the ruins bringing forth a number of lizard folk to attack the targets that have entered. Dot on the run, missing. Know where he is. And the group trying to fight for their life here in the Ruins of Joiruc.
Oh,
That is where we will pick up next time. Now,
Scary place.
one announcement that I made at the beginning that I will make again. We are in the process of moving spaces to a new space for Tabletop Notch. Doesn't mean that much for you. For us, we are recording a couple of episodes ahead of time so that during the move we can air those episodes and not try and do those simultaneously. The episodes will air at the exact same time, Sundays at 7 o'clock, 7 to 10-ish. We will be in the chat to say, hey, check in with people. But the next 2 episodes will be pre-recorded episodes. So for this group, I will see you on Wednesday where we resolve this.
Oh my god, at least we only have to wait.
For everybody else, we will see you next week. Hopefully in the chat we'll say, hey, thank you guys so much for joining us, as always.
Yeah.
And
The Ruins of Joiruc
don't
unfolding.
worry. You'll still have whatever holiday.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We will
happening.
be pre-researching the necessary.
Do not fear that will be part
I already said it, but Somber777 subbed, and then Comrades Hotel also gifted another sub, so thank you guys so much for the pre-recordings. Obviously, I won't be shouting you guys out for the next 2 episodes, but I'll be in chat saying thank you so much. Please don't be offended, that's all I can do.
Yes. Again, the notifications will still pop up. We just
Yeah,
obviously
the
won't-
overlay will still work just
We should
fine.
just, when we're pre-recording, just every once in a while go, oh wow, thanks for the sub! Just like, what tremendous!
100 subs!
What if I just sat on OBS and waited, and we'd be like, thanks for
500
the sub,
viewers. Wow.
Comrade Tortel.
Yeah, like have a drink in front of a glass. Thanks for the sub.
Brilliant. Yes,
Wow,
thank you all
this is scary.
so much. Wonderful, wonderful news.
Jeez.
Battle rages on in the Ruins of Joiruc.
I'm captive.
I'm so mad.
Check out the total party kill.
next week.
Oh my god, what is wrong with you?
That is not even close
New
to
studio,
funny.
new team.
We will see you guys on Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us as always. We'll see you then. Have a good night, everybody.
Oh my god, I'm not gonna
Good
sleep.
night.
Help us, please.
Bye.